All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. Excuse me. And there are they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come by Abba's name, and you receive me not. For another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Allah. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? So all esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. We get this 2 Peter chapter 3. Shalom, Jessica. Verse 12. Looking forward and hastening unto the coming of the day of Elohim, wherein Shamahim being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new Shamahim and new Arats, wherein dwell righteousness. Wherefore, beloved, seeing that you look for such things, be diligent, that you be found of him in shalom, without spot and blameless. Account that the long suffering of our Lord salvation, even as our beloved brother Paul, also according to the wisdom given unto him, was written unto you, also in all epistles, speaking of them of these things, which some things are hard to be understood, which they that are unlearned and unstable wrest, also the other scriptures unto their own destruction. So, shalom, Ishmael. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a detour from Romans 9, and we're going to talk about the 144,000 as it pertains to one particular thing that's going to relate, shalom, Mika, which is going to relate to 1 Corinthians 7, Matthew, Deuteronomy, Malachi. As you know, the questions about divorce and remarriage, we were having a conversation about that. But then also something as it pertains, something specifically as it pertains to the 144,000, that would relate to a couple of men in the Old Testament as it pertains to this particular matter. Something that, shalom, Jay, that people be having issues with. So Revelation 14:1.
And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Sion, with him 144,000, having his Abba's name written in their foreheads.
All right.
And I heard a voice from Shamayim as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. Mm-hmm. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. Mm-hmm. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, mm-hmm. before the four beasts, and the elder, and no man can learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
Tell them what redeemed is. Shalom, Brother Marcus, man. Yeah, for those of y'all, we had to start over, man. The doggone signal went out. Well, I didn't say it went out. The stream started buffering. And I couldn't figure out what I did the last time to restart it. So we just started over again. We hadn't gotten that deep into it anyway. Go ahead.
That's agarazzo, to be in the marketplace, to attend it, to do business there,
or to buy,
or sell, to purchase, to redeem.
So this is something that he has purchased. Isaiah 52, verse 3. Go ahead.
Thus saith Yahuwah, you have sold yourselves for nothing.
You be
redeemed without money.
Tell them what redeemed is there, man. Now, for this particular matter that we're working up to, we have to be very deliberate and specific in what it is that we trying to do.
To all, to redeem, to act as kinsman redeemer, to avenge, to ransom, to do the part of a kinsman.
And what does a kinsman redeemer do? They pay the debt. Shalom, Howard. They pay a debt. Now, these are those who are redeemed or bought from the earth. Come back to Revelation 14:4. This is what we're here for. Verse 4 is what we're here for. Go ahead.
These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which followed the Lamb wheresoever he goes. These were redeemed from among men, the first fruits unto Elohim and to the Lamb.
Give them redeemed and first fruits, just on general principle. Redeemed gonna be the same word, but I need to make sure that y'all can see that for yourself.
Mm-hmm. That's agarazzo again. So
we don't got to go into definition because you just heard it. First fruits.
A parquet, to offer firstlings or first fruits.
Offer firstlings or what?
First fruits.
I want you to keep this in mind. And I want this to be locked in your brain by this. I know we just talked about this recently, but we're about to attack it from another angle. Go ahead.
Or to take away the first fruits of the productions of the earth, which was offered to Elohim. First portion of the dough.
The first portion of the dough.
We got person superior in excellence.
Person superior in excellence in every class. So not only is these the firstlings, these firstlings are superior to everyone.
Or beginning of sacrifice.
Now, I want you to look at this here because there's where the contention come in at. And when I say contention, not contention like people are cussing each other out, but as forth as differing points of views. And it's that they were not defiled with women, for they were virgins. So we need to look at what is woman here. Of course, you know, in Hebrew, woman is Isha, and that is a woman of marriageable age, so on and so forth. Go ahead. Or a wife.
Woman here is Bunay, a woman of any age, whether a virgin or married or a widow. A wife of a betrothed woman, or a woman, especially a wife.
You notice that when it comes to, at least in that time, a woman was synonymous with being a wife. Every time when you look at a definition of a woman, it's going to point you back to she was a wife. A wife. Doesn't mean she was a good wife. Doesn't mean she was a bad wife. She was either married, about to be married, or a widow. You know what I'm talking about? Now, look at defiled.
That's maluno, to pollute, stain, contaminate, defile, to soil.
Now, one of the consternations that were coming about is with defiled, thinking that it means something evil. Now I said that, well, look at virgin. It said they were virgins. They had not been defiled. They had not been unclean with a wife. That's why I want you to focus on the definition as a wife. This is letting you know that these are unmarried men.
Virgins is Parthenos, a virgin, a marriageable maiden, a woman who has never had sex.
So we know it's not talking, that's not the definition for it, because this ain't talking about women.
A man who has abstained from all uncleanness and whoredom attendant on idolatry, and so has kept his chastity. One who has never had intercourse with a woman.
One who's never had intercourse with a woman. Now, before that, that's what, and this is where some people look at it is people who ain't never committed idolatry. Well, we could say that the majority of men who in the word now who say they gonna be part of the 144K use a lie. Because you acknowledge that you celebrated Christmas or Easter or any of these other things. Or you've had idols in your heart. So therefore you would be what's the word I want to look for? Excluded. Mm-hmm. Shalom, Sister Kelly. Excommunicated. I can't even say excommunicated because you would have to be a part of it to be excommunicated. You are disqualified. There we go. You are disqualified from this. But now it's referring to men who have never had sex. And I think when it comes down to the 144, is people have many divergent views on what it is they're going to do, but it clearly tells you that they're the first fruits. Now, we talked about this maybe 2 weeks ago in bringing back to your pure minds by way of remembrance about how your law say to not to delay to give the first fruits. But now we finna attack these first fruits in a whole different fashion than we did the last time. You understand? So hold your peace and just wait. But first, let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Let's do that. Let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. We're going to pick this up at verse 1. So I guess that's where Romans 2 come to play, even when they were without it doesn't. Matter of fact, I'm glad you said that. I need you to go to Leviticus 15 and 30 to show why you would be defiled with women. Because people were looking at it from a negative connotation. It's not a negative connotation. If you lay down and have coitus with a woman and you ejaculate, the releasing of your semen will make you unclean. Therefore, you would be defiled. That doesn't mean you wicked. It don't mean she wicked. It don't mean you were wicked with laying with her if you were married. That's why you say the marriage bed is undefiled. Therefore, that's a pure bed because you're married. But you're supposed to know your law well enough to know that the releasing of bodily fluids, no matter what bodily fluid it is, will make you ceremonially unclean. Therefore, you would be defiled. You know how you know this? Because in Exodus chapter 20, when they were getting prepared, or Exodus 19, when they were getting prepared to come up on the mount, what did Moses tell these men not to do? Let's take a look at it, just in case somebody thinking, oh, he's making this up. And again, this goes down to knowing and understanding the operation of your God. That is it. That's it. Exodus chapter 19, verse 11. That's right, Jessica. Exodus chapter 19, verse 11. Come on with it, man.
Be ready against the third day. For the third day, Yahuwah will come down in the sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai. You shall set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves, that you go not up into the mount or touch the border of it. Whosoever touch the mount shall be surely put to death. What verse you talking about in Romans 2, Omar? Go ahead. That there shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through. Whether it be beast or man, it shall not live. Come on. When the trumpet sound long, they shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day, and come not at your wives. Come not at your what? At your wives. Well, come and tell them what come not at mean, man. Obviously, by implication, insinuation, you can infer that this is referring to don't have intercourse with your spouse. Come as nagash, to draw near, approach of humans, of sexual intercourse. Do not have sex with your wife, because you would be unclean, so you can't approach. You notice because he literally just told you to wash your clothes. So now let's take a look at Leviticus 15 and 30. Come on with it, man. Shalom, Mama Steph. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering and the other for a burnt offering. Hold up. That ain't what I want. I got you at the end of the chapter. I need to have you in the beginning. I think it's 15 and 15, and then we can go to the end. Shalom, Brother Marlon, man. Oh, yeah. Because, and I understand why they look at it like that, too. 15 and 16. Leviticus 15 and 16 to start. Go ahead. And if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water. He'll be what? Unclean until evening. Tell him what unclean means, man. Tell him what word is used there. To be unclean, to become unclean, to become impure. Sexually, religiously, ceremonially. Man, he got to go no further, because you're going to see that's the same word. Peace, Joseph, man. The same word used for defile at the end of this chapter. Verse 17, every garment, every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the evening. The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall what? Both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the evening. Now that's it. Now look at what he tell you, right? Now come on down to verse 32. This is the law of him that have an issue, and of him whose seed go from him, and is defiled therewith. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand what people don't understand that. Like, and if you have sex with a woman, you're gonna be unclean. And you know what? Even if you wasn't in the word, you know that, because people look at it like, oh, you had coitus and you didn't wash your groin. You didn't wash your loins, man. You know how people look at some women foul if she didn't have sex and she get up and go about her day? You know what I'm saying? It's different if y'all, you know what I'm saying, extra freaky, you couldn't wait till you got home and that's just what it was. Because some people do that. But you did that and you was and you walked around all day. Like, you can't make stuff, you can't get up, you can't try to transport something in your mind and you see defiled and you just automatically think defiled means wickedness. Defiled means you're unclean. You could be defiled by touching a dead body. You know what I'm talking about? Does that mean you wicked because you touched a dead body? It literally says in the law that the high priest can't defile himself but for close kin.
Because we were having a conversation about that, where people do try to say he was married to his cousin. I think they was just that in the third. But now I was explaining to them, and if you've been in anything involved with that, you would know cousins are not considered close kin. That's not considered close kin. Close kin is considered to be your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, your uncles, and your aunts, and that's it. And then in certain situations, whether it pertains to the military or penal system, well, basically the government, aunts and uncles ain't considered close kin. You know what I'm talking about? Close kin is considered to be your parents and your siblings for that exact reason of what you just stated, Omar, direct DNA. Your cousins don't have direct DNA because there's another person introduced who has outside DNA, which is why you've seen Jacob marrying his cousins. You know what I'm talking about? Which, of course, you know, in this modern time is frowned upon. You know what I'm talking about? But in some cultures of people to this day, and in times of gone by, that was normal practice for people to marry their first, second, and third cousins. You know what I'm talking about? Because they're not direct relatives. Now I know with black people it's different because most black folks you raised with your cousins, so therefore you look at your cousins as siblings. We just talking about from a societal, structural, and biological standpoint. They are not close kin. They're not. You know what I'm saying? When you got siblings, y'all got, prayerfully, you got the same mama and the same daddy, y'all close kin. Y'all all share the same genetic makeup in totality. You know what I'm talking about? In totality. But when it comes, you can see that when you look at people who would have power of attorney over your stuff. If you die and you don't have stuff let up, it's going to be, if you don't have a spouse, it's going to be your oldest child. You know what I'm talking about? And if you don't have any children, then it's going to fall to one of your siblings. You say, my egg donor has 3 baby fathers. Would half siblings be close kin? They're still considered close kin because of the kinship of one parent. You know what I'm talking about? Which is why there's a prohibition from it in Leviticus. You know what I'm talking about? Because there's still a sharing of direct chromosome from one parent. You know what I'm talking about? But when you look at it from the aspect of cousins, because when you're dealing with a cousin, that means it's dealing with your parents' siblings and then an outside person. And that waters that down. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't have a direct necessarily chromosome link with your aunts or uncles, if you would. You do, but you don't, as far as biology is concerned. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I'm not saying, of course, scripturally it tell you at that particular time, the law wasn't dropped as far as the covenant was concerned, prohibiting them to do that. Then on top of that, when they did that, Abraham wasn't a servant of Yahuwah when he married Sarah. You know what I'm saying? He was already married to her. That's why he said, that's my, what he said, the daughter of my mother, but not my father. So it was more so we don't come from the same seed, but the same womb, if you would. You understand what I'm saying? But you know, people get thrown back when you say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, your cousins are not considered to be direct kin. They're just not. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Where we at with it, G?
We go to Leviticus 30.
Yeah, we good with that. Dre, what's happening, homie? What we was at with him?
1 Corinthians 7. Unless you had anything else.
Go ahead. 1 Corinthians 7:1.
Now, concerning the things whereof you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
Nevertheless,
to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife.
And let every man.
Let every woman have her own husband.
Yeah, every man have his own wife. Every woman have a what?
Own husband.
My apologies. So guess what? Does the law tell you not to be humping around? It don't say it directly, but you know what the standard is, man. I mean, say if that woman is not betrothed and you put your wee-wee in her, you got to marry her. And if the daddy say no, you got to hit him off with them shekels. You know what I'm talking about? That's not, and that's why he said to keep the fornication. You know why? What that is? 1 Thessalonians, chapter 4, verse 4. Some things, some people wanted to be playing out. Fornication ain't this. Nigga, you not supposed to be no nasty wee bandit slinging penis everywhere to any and everybody and think that man stamped that. The man already told you in Amos you profaned his name because two men running in the same woman. You running a train. That man don't stamp that. He told you in Jeremiah, niggas laying up, nailing that at every neighbor's wife. We were talking about the other day, like, it's different now. There's people more freaky. People been freaky. Look here, man. It was slut hoes back in the day, just like it's slut hoes now. Male and female. That junk ain't no different. You want to think more ladies was upright back then. They were prostitutes back then. If you can read about Judah thinking Tamar was a prostitute, that means they been out here tricking. That ain't no new thing, man. It's just now you don't have no shame or care or concern about behaving that way. Now it's a little bit more socially acceptable for you to spread yourself around a little bit, like some sandwich spread. You can just go from this person and that person. And that's why most people can't stay with nobody for no long period of time. You know what I'm saying? You can't be with all these different people, man, and think that junk gonna work out. We didn't have a conversation before because I learned this before I heard Carlos Miller say it. He just put it so eloquently. You know what I'm saying? If a woman or men with certain, and I've heard women say this out their mouth, they want to take the best of every man they done dealt with and create this imaginary man in their mind that doesn't exist. This is an amalgamation of 5 different dudes. That dude is nowhere on the earth. He doesn't exist. You know what I'm saying? You want a thug who write poetry and there's no such man. It's no such man. And that's what makes for miserable interactions. You know what I'm saying? We were talking about it this morning. I don't know why these niggas get in the word and marry people they don't like. You don't like that woman. You wonder why the marriage bad. You don't like that man. You wonder why the marriage bad. It's gonna be bad every time. Go ahead, man.
That every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor.
But back it up to verse 1. I think I bucked what we want.
Furthermore, than we beseech you, brethren, and exhort you by the Lord Yahushua, that as you have received of us how you ought to walk and to please Elohim,
right,
so you would abound more and more. For you know what commandments we gave you by the Lord Yahushua.
What them commandments
was? This is the will of Elohim, your
what
sanctification, that you should abstain from fornication.
He said it's your what?
This is the will of Elohim.
And your what?
Sanctification.
So if it's the will, this is the pleasure of God, and this would set you apart. And what is that, sir?
You should abstain from fornication.
Keep your wee-wee in your pants, nigga. And keep your legs closed if you're not married to this person. This is pleasurable to this. Ain't nowhere in the world you say you representative of God and you around here sleeping with a whole bunch of different people. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that it's niggas in the word who say they represent this man and niggas listen to niggas who behave like this is baffling to me. Because I'm not finna listen to this nigga. Why are you? Clearly, he's not sanctified. I ain't gonna lie to you. I wouldn't listen to no dude who teach the word. He say this is 4th or 5th wife. I know it's something got to be wrong with you. All your wives leave you, my nigga? All of them gone? Every last one of them. And there's something wrong with all of them. Ain't nothing wrong with you. Okay. You go for that sin. And I ain't saying that just to say it. I'm saying that because word or not, I'm going to look at you. Look at, man, I got a homegirl who been married 5 times, man. Do you understand that we've only been adults for 27 years? So that means that's a marriage that's lasting an average of 5 years. 5 marriages is a lot. I could give you 1 marriage, might have not been you, maybe even 2. 5, you the problem. 5? Nigga, we 45. She just turned 45 yesterday. That's a lot, bro. I ain't never think she'd go out like that. But then again, I wasn't with her, so I don't know what it's, being friends with somebody and then being with them, 2 different things. You know what I'm saying? They could be your homeboy could be cool as hell with you and insufferable with his wife. You don't know. You ain't with him in that capacity. So who knows? But I ain't no fool either. Because I know if I had been married 5 times, I would not think it unreasonable somebody look at me and say, brother, possibly you're the problem. That's a lot of, you got 4 failed marriages and you were in all of them. So what were you doing? Go ahead, man.
It said that every one of you should know how to possess his vessel in sanctification and honor, not in the lust of concupiscence.
And that's forbidden lust.
Even as the Gentiles, which know not Elohim.
So you shouldn't be carrying yourself in forbidden lust, man. And I don't know, I didn't listen to all that stuff with Shannon Sharp, but guess what? Forbidden lust is why he dealing with what he dealing with. Your wee will get you in some trouble, boy. You know what I'm saying? You better think with your big head and not with your small one, boy. And I've been told you this here, man. If you are a slave to your sexual desires, you are not a man. If you cannot turn sex down, you ain't a man, because you ain't got no control over your lust. That means pleasure dictates your thought process, your decision making. You'll toss your soul away for some temporary pleasure. You's a fool. Boy, ain't no piece of vagina on earth worth going to hell for. I promise you that. It can't be that good, man. There's no way. You'll throw it all away for that. But guess what? Greater men and lesser men have all ruined their life chasing after that. You know what? Oh, that's right. You don't listen to George Clinton. You don't know what he said. We tried to tell you the other day. You remember? You remember what George Shalom says, Regina? You say that's funny. Bring it up with Kanye. I don't even know what Kanye got going on, other than the fact he said he was topping his cousin off. I sure hope his cousin wasn't no grown man. He said it's like candy, and the other one he said, "Why must I chase the cat? It's nothing but the dog in me." Civic don't know nothing about that. These people weren't playing no Funkadelic for him. All he had in there was Clarence Carter. Let me leave this nigga alone. Come on, man. That boy ain't had nothing but I be stroking. That's all he had in there playing, man. Nah, all jokes aside, though, man, chasing after sex, man, that don't ruin your life, boy. And the book tell you that. He tell you that. You know what I'm saying? He tell you that. Keep that on the keep yourself governed, man. You can't be out here for no grown man living for pleasure, bro. You can't live your life like that, man. You definitely can't be no leader of men, because you'll toss everybody under your charge away for temporary pleasure. You'll sacrifice the whole battalion for some pleasure, man. You can't trust no man who like to indulge in pleasure like that. He ain't trustworthy. He ain't a sound decision maker. And I ain't saying that just to say that. Well, that's real talk, man. You better read some history books. You better pay attention. You better look at what's going on around you. You better look at some of your friends and family and see the direction their life went, because they were always on a consistent and constant pursuit for pleasure. Shoot, even 1 Timothy 5 and 6 tell you, she that seeketh pleasure is dead while she liveth. You can throw that on a man too. You seeking after pleasure, you're going to be dead, because the pleasure is like people who smoke crack, man. You chasing something. You always going to be chasing it. You always going to be after it. You can never get your fill. It's never enough. You'll always be wanting. There ain't no way to live, my nigga. I promise you, it ain't. Go ahead, bud.
We go with that one.
First, Corinthians 7:3.
Let the husband render unto the wife do benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband.
Where that come from out the law, Civic? Tell them what benevolence is, just in case they don't know, man. But in layman's terms, man, you can't be holding out on them yams, man.
That's eunoia, goodwill, kindness, conjugal duty.
Conjugal duties. You know what I'm saying? You can't be holding out on giving that woman some of that good loving, man. He finna tell you why that, because all jokes aside, though, man, you know, you're human beings. At least you got to have a conversation about it. Like when you hear people talking about, oh, they ain't laid with their spouse in 6 months, 8 months, you know what I'm talking about? This, that, there, and the third. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. Because, yeah, in theory, you would think that, oh, well, you should never step out on me, this, that, there, and the third. But man or woman, they're a human being, and they got itching in their loins. And if somebody catch them at the right time in the wrong place with the right desire, boy, they're going to go after that. They're going to go after that. I ain't saying it's right. I'm just telling you what happens. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't telling you got to agree with it, but we do understand the reality of life or what happens. And you have to understand cause and effect. How you expect somebody to go without intimacy from somebody for 8 months, 12 months, 15 months? And you think they just supposed to go without that? No, she's not going without that because she's finna go get some. He's not going, well, some dudes do. You know what I'm saying? Most don't. Go ahead and read Exodus 21:10, man. Always remember you're a human being. And as strong as you might think you are, your flesh ain't that strong. And you don't want to put yourself in them type of situations. Paul gonna mention this in Corinthians 7. You got to at least at bare minimum, you got to have a conversation with him about what's going on. But weaponizing your loins, if you really want to be with somebody, it's not a wise course of action, in my opinion. Not if you're married. It's not to say that. Now, of course, he's saying he's gonna tell you your body belongs to your wife, your wife's body belongs to you, y'all belong to each other. But it is the access of just common human courtesy. You cannot starve someone of that and expect things is just gonna be like it's all gravy. Because it's not. Especially with dudes, because dudes want sex for the most part. You know what I'm talking about? And I put it in, I'm saying, I ain't gonna say like because there's something wrong with you if you just get married for the purpose of having sex. That's why a lot of Israelite marriages, in my opinion, go sour, because these people getting married so they can have legal sex, so they can feel better in their mind about having sex with somebody. Most people in the world don't care about that because they probably smashing before they get married, so they probably don't even care. You know what I'm talking about? But most dudes do get married for the purpose of having in-house yams. You know what I'm talking about? They at least know I got some yams at the house. I ain't got to go do this and go do that. I've been telling y'all this. I've told you this a million times before, because the average dude don't get women like that. You know what I'm saying? Not how most people think, like every man got hoes everywhere. Most dudes don't. You know what I'm saying? They might have, I'm talking about, well, they don't have to pay for it. Like there's a woman who I like you enough to come on through. And he doesn't have to expend a significant amount of resources for that. Most dudes don't have that. Most dudes ain't that smooth. Most dudes ain't that player. And most dudes ain't that handsome. Well, they just got a stable of women on call that they can go lay with. You know what I'm saying? Consequently, that woman got to like you and be, engaged on you on multiple levels, to where every time she see you, it's like, yeah, come on through. Yeah, you don't want that, because that's just terrible. That's just terrible. I've heard stories from men, man. It's like he looks sad all the time. Because the last thing you would want to do is have to masturbate. You got a wife. That's terrible. Now, I did meet a dude he was like, he still watched porn and masturbated and had a wife, and his wife wasn't holding out. I said, you was a nasty nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because that don't even make sense to me. You got a whole woman in the house. What you doing that for? You got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro.
If he take him another, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free.
That's good. He said that duty of marriage. Don't tell her what it is, man. That's conjugal rights, man. That's cohabitation. Some coitus.
That's cohabitation, conjugal rights.
You got to give that woman her conjugal rights. It's the same thing now. You can't be telling that woman you can't, man, shoot, boy. If he won't salute, you better get you something, boy. They got Bluetooth for you. Cameron got pink horsepower for you. They got honey packs for you. Sloan, Sister Joy. They got all that for you. You better figure something out. You can't be doing that woman like that, man. Come on back to 1 Corinthians 7:3. No, you can't be doing that woman like that, man. See, that's the fourth type of eunuch the Lord didn't mention. It definitely is. It definitely is. It definitely is. Hey, man. Hey, I wouldn't know about Bluetooth if it wasn't for Big John. That boy, he weaved them Bluetooth ads in them videos. Smooth, boy. Go ahead, man. Verse 3 again, though.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence.
And likewise.
Also the wife unto the husband.
The wife have not
power of her own body, but the husband. Likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body.
Say no need wife. For the panic and pink horsepower leave you stiffer than a mannequin. This nigga. Go ahead. Boy, send that nigga home, man. Go ahead, man. He say what? Defraud what?
You not one the other.
Except it be for what?
With consent for a time.
That you may give yourselves
fasting and
come together again.
That Hashatan tempt you not for your incontinency.
Go ahead and tell them what incontinency. And that's all that means is, man, the adversary might come through and try you. And And just being real, like I say, I have to impress upon you multiple times, you are a human being. And in that instance, you would be weak in the flesh. Now, you would hope that you would be strong enough to resist that, but everybody ain't that strong. That's not an excuse for bad decision making. But you would have to this is for you to understand how, at least for people who say they godly and you in this type of situation or circumstance, not you just old dirty dick nigga just sleeping with any and everybody. And that woman ain't doing that to you. We talking about real deal. Okay, y'all got something going on. Y'all defrauding each other. I'm talking about either side of the pendulum. You human beings. And the minute you think you super strong in something, and the minute you find yourself in a weak situation, you'll find out you wasn't as strong as you thought you were. You know what I'm saying? And you shouldn't be purposely doing somebody like that. In reality, casting a stumbling block before them, and you married to them, and you say you love them. That's why he say do that with consent. A conversation should be had. Okay, baby, if you don't want to have sex, then you should be woman enough or man enough to look your spouse in the eye and tell them the reasons and rationale why at this particular time I don't desire to participate in this behavior. There has to come a time that people are adults and that you have that conversation and not just have somebody out in the dark wondering why, thinking there's something wrong with them. Or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? And nah, man, that junk ain't cool. Be an adult and say what's on your brain. If you can't do that, then what did you get married for? Go ahead, man.
That is akrasia, want of self-control and continence. And
that man say you want, he literally just tell you unless you don't get tempted for your lack of self-control. Because you might not have control over yourself like you think you do. Always remember this here, man. Solomon was wiser than all of us put together and multiplied by a trillion. And Yams got him in trouble. So what you think gonna happen to you? You know what I'm saying? Always remember this here. You still flesh and blood, man. You got to stay on top of your game. You can't be moving sideways and aki out this hole. Man, you got to be paying attention, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you could slip at any given time if you know what I'm saying, if you ain't tighten up on your pimping. So it's just certain things, man. Hey, man, you know, hey, my old lady ain't been doing this, that, there, and the third. Then you would already have to know you would need to be on guard. Okay, my husband acting like this, that, there, and the third. Okay, I need to be on guard because I got needs. I got wants. I'm a human being. I have desires. I said desires. I didn't want to say lust because lust don't always mean something negative. But you got desires. You can't act like, oh, I'm in the word, so I ain't got no desires. You lying to yourself. You setting yourself up to do something you ain't got no business. Then you're going to be sitting here looking crazy. Come on, man. Verse 6. Now listen to what he say.
But I speak this by permission.
By what?
By permission.
And not
of command.
For I would.
That all men were even as I myself.
Every man.
Have his proper gift of Elohim, one after this manner and another after that.
So now he didn't tell nobody at any time not to get married. Now he's letting you know he's speaking his opinion. This is what we getting into talking about, okay, were these men not virgins because they weren't with women or something else? Right now we're going to attack it from the aspect that it literally says what it says. That they didn't have no wives. Because it literally refers to a woman as wife, a wife, a wife, a wife. We'll look at two men who we can see to describe as not having a wife. Go ahead.
So I say, therefore, to they are married and widows, it is good for them if they abide even as I.
Now notice he put in unmarried and widows. How is he abiding? But if they cannot what?
Contain.
Let them what?
Let them marry.
Because it's better to what?
Marry than to burn.
Now, tell them what contain means. Now, this man is being reasonable. And this is the reason why, right? This is real talk. Most of y'all on here who know this. If you don't have a spouse, it is much easier for you to focus your complete and utter attention on serving God. I would tell a man, me personally, you first jumping in the word, man, you don't need to be concerned with a wife for 36 to 48 months, to be 100% honest with you. You need to be focusing on serving your God, learning of your God, and receiving the Ruach, not finding a wife. That should be the least of your concerns. You know what I'm saying? Because truth be told, you probably don't even know how to be nobody's husband. You know what I'm talking about? Because I can tell you, I used to plenty of time, man. When I got in the word, bro, I was 29 years old. Man, I knew I wasn't ready to be nobody's husband. That wasn't even on my mind, man. But you know why people be pressed to be somebody's husband? Because you pressed by having sex, man. And that's how you end up married to the wrong woman. And when I say the wrong woman, meaning a woman you don't want to be married to, and now you make that woman life a living hell because you don't want her. But like a dummy, you married her. Like I told him earlier, I know a dude who did that. He know he didn't want to be married to this woman. And he was in the word when he did it. He married that woman. This was a good woman. I ain't saying that this is a good woman that's forth is caping. I'm talking about I knew her also. She was a good woman. She was a woman who earnestly sought to please God. She loved this man. Her desire was to make this man happy. And he made that woman life a living hell. And that woman probably still hasn't fully bounced back from the nonsense that nigga put her through. And then he looked crazy when we used to tell him, you wrong, cuz. What's wrong with you? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Man, I knew I didn't want to be with her. So why did you marry her? Man, that's no. And guess how old he was? In his 40s. This wasn't no 20-year-old man. This man was in his 40s. Had grown children already. Because you thinking about your long, man, you can't do that, man. You know how a lot of dudes be like, oh man, she this, that, there, and the third. Because you were so pressed to be married that you didn't find out this woman's character. You didn't pay attention to her behavior. Oh, she in the word, I'm in the word. She got fringes on, she got on a head wrap. This woman's a menace. Because you was worried about the wrong thing. And you know what make it worse? Too many brothers telling somebody he need to go get him a wife. He don't even know his God yet. What he need a wife for? What he gonna do with that? That boy need to spend time alone with God first. Then get him a wife. They don't like to hear that do it. I don't tell none of y'all what to do. I'll give you some advice. Y'all grown. You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm talking about? I don't tell nobody who they can marry, who they can't marry, or when you can get married. I give you some advice. You do what you want to after that. If it goes sour, don't come crying to me. You know what I'm talking about? Now you got to be an adult. You got to figure that out. It's the same thing for a woman, man. Some of them people be pressing them women to get married. Man, she need to learn who her God is first, man. Like, y'all can't be pressed for sex that bad. You can't be pressed. It can't be that serious, man. It can't be. Not where sex overrides salvation and you say this is what you want for your life. It can't be that serious, man. You can't be that horny. You can't be that pressed for loving, man. You can't be. You can't be that lonely. Like, good Lord. I know people really is, but people don't sit down and talk to people and address that while they press for that. You've been in the word 60 days. You talking about, well, I need me a wife. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't even know who you are in your God yet. A wife is the least of your concerns. But come on, man.
Contained is in euomai, that is to be self-controlled, continent, to exhibit self-government.
So again, if your self-control is waning, he's telling you go ahead and get married. And why is it always focusing on that? Because you're a human being. You're a human being. Yes, the word can keep you, but you are a human being. And it's only so much your flesh can take before it go overboard. So in order to not lose your soul, then he tell, hey man, go and get you a wife, cuz. But he said, but I would rather you be dolo. Now get Matthew chapter 19, man. What it is, verse 10 or 11? Just tell me what 10 say. You say Brittany Renner on the tip of the iceberg? Yeah, I seen that, man. I don't know a whole lot of I knew she became a Muslim. That's unfortunate that she messing with Kevin Gates, but that just show you that because according to what they say, man, Kevin Gates' wife is a phenomenal woman. Now, of course, I don't know this woman. And she don't want nothing to do with this man. And he won't divorce her. And you know why he probably won't divorce her? See, he gonna go out like my homeboy told me his baby mama daddy went out. See, and I be wanting stuff like this to happen to stupid niggas like this here, who have a phenomenal woman at the house. And you mess over that woman for a slew-footed maggot scallywag. A bona fide whore. And I hope that whore drag you and make your life utterly miserable because you had a great woman at the house and you did her dirty, chasing after hoes. I hope she break you. I hope she give you a venereal disease. I hope she crash your car. I hope everything in life go wrong for you because that's what you deserve. You know what I'm talking about? I hope God turn his back on you and make it rain on you everywhere you go. Because you had you a wife, nigga, and you left her for a whore. You wiped a whore when you had a solid woman at the house. Any nigga who do that in any area of life don't deserve nothing positive. Because you stupid. Like, straight up, man. His wife definitely on that type. That's unfortunate. I don't know about them people. I just know what they talking about. But boy, I just use that example because my homeboy told me that what happened to his baby mama daddy. Had a good woman at the house and left her for his baby mama who is a maggot. And when I say maggot, I'm talking about a full-fledged Duval County foot dragger. You know what I'm talking about? And those of y'all who from Duval County, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A 100% Duval County foot dragger. And bruh say that man life been miserable since the day he left his wife. And it should be. It should be. You got a solid woman at the house, man, you take your stoop behind home and stop chasing hoes, nigga. What's wrong with you? That's what's wrong with niggas, man. You can't have no, man, look here, I'm be honest with you, man. Having a real deal wife, man, I'm talking about a solid woman on your team is better than the yams of 4-5 different women. I don't know what's wrong with you, nigga. I don't know who nigga taught you the game. Sometimes you supposed to learn enough to be like, shoot, what you got ain't worth losing versus them yams you gonna get. Them yams gonna be worth losing somebody who on your team, who riding with you, who literally is a wise woman who building her house. That temporary pleasure that's worth losing that. Yeah, you deserve for your life to go down the tubes, nigga. You dumb. You're dumb. You're an idiot. So it's like leaving wisdom, like, yeah, man, you can't do that, man, because that woman don't deserve that. She don't deserve that. She do not deserve that. And a lot of niggas do that. And they do that because they thinking, oh, she not going to go nowhere. I'm telling you, a woman who a real deal woman, bro, she got self-respect. Boy, she going to leave you, cuz. She going to leave you. Because she know what the worst thing that could ever, the worst thing she could do to you is not stay there and let you do her dirty. It's her removing herself from your presence and you not being able to benefit to the value that she added to your life. That's the worst thing she could ever do to you. And then you're going to realize you a jackass. Then it's going to be too late. You're going to have a life with whores. For real, man, I am a firm believer that, boy, if God give you a real deal woman, man, solid woman on your team, man, and you mess that over, you ain't getting another one. Why would he give you the same thing over again if you ain't appreciate the first one? You be like, oh, I get it. Nah, it's too late. You already had that. You get whores from here on out. Yeah, man, life be miserable, man. Drive you crazy. You had gray hair. You're only 29. Yeah, and that's what you deserve. And I stand on that. Go ahead, man.
Matthew 19:10. His disciples say unto him, if the case of a man be so with his wife, it is not good to marry.
Go ahead.
But he said unto them, all cannot receive the saying, save to whom it is given.
He said, everybody can't get this except who I give it to. Who he give it to, bud?
For there are some eunuchs which were so born from their mother's womb. Mm-hmm. There are some eunuchs which are made eunuchs of men. Mm-hmm. And there be eunuchs which have made themselves eunuchs for the kingdom of Allah, for Shamayim's sake. He that is able to receive, let him receive.
Tell him what a eunuch is right there, man. I hope none of y'all become a literal eunuch, because that would suck.
Eunuchos, a bedkeeper, bedguard, superintendent of the bedchamber, chamberlain, an emasculated man, a eunuch. Eunuchs in Oriental courts held by the officers of greater, held by the Ethiopian eunuch mentioned in the Acts. One naturally incapacitated for marriage, begetting children. One who voluntarily abstains from marriage.
One who voluntarily abstains from marriage, which is the context of what he's referring to here. One who voluntarily abstains from marriage. Now I'm going to ask you a question. Can any of you know anyone from the Old Testament who voluntarily abstained from marriage? And you can read that they were either described as such or it says that they did as such, you're on the clock. It's draft time. You wasn't ready for that. What is it? It's draft, man. They still ain't drafted that boy, man. I heard they said that boy won't go to the third round. Daniel 1-11. Mm-hmm. Jephthah's daughter, I'll allow it. Even though that's a man, I'll allow it. Even mean that's a woman, I'll allow it. And Will got the same thing Stanley got. Say Elijah. Samuel had a wife. Samuel had children, Crystal. I don't know if it even mentions if Elijah had a spouse or not. You say, there it is. Jeremiah and Daniel. Yeah, Samuel had kids, Crystal. Samuel's sons were wicked as hell. They were judging for hire. Now with Elijah, it doesn't say if he was married or not. Yeah, you good. It didn't say if he was married or not. That one there's left open-ended. He may have been, he may have hadn't. It doesn't say. Well, we can make that determination. But let's look at Jeremiah 16:1. And let's look at what he told Jeremiah not to do. And this is just to establish the framework of somebody whose life was dedicated to the service of Yahuwah. We were talking about it earlier. My man's mentioned that's Roman Catholicism. You have to remember, Roman Catholics teach that priests cannot marry. This is not a teaching that someone cannot marry. This is a voluntary type of deal. Now, Jeremiah is going to get a direct instruction and directive to not marry for a specific reason. These are men who are choosing to dedicate their life to God, the same way that Anna the prophetess in Luke did not remarry after her husband died and served in the temple day and night. Some people choose to do that. That's not a mandate. That's why Paul said, I don't speak this by commandment, by permission. That's why the Lord said, everybody can't receive this saying. This is for select men. This is what will make you the best of the best or excel over everybody else. You know what I'm talking about? Because you've been being a godly man and marrying your wife and loving your wife as a Mashiach loved his is good. You abstaining and dedicating yourself to serving God day and night is greater. And that's not for everybody. And that's okay if you don't want to do that. But it's some men that's what they want to center their life around. And to be told, the Almighty got to give you the type of heart and mind for you to do that anyway. You know what I'm talking about? But I understand, because most of us, by the time you come in the word, you've already tasted the sweet nectar of them loins. You know what I'm saying? You've tasted the sweetness of the flesh, so it's already too late for you anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know what you're tripping on. You probably done worship idols at some time in your life. You done been with a woman at some time in your life. You not being part of them first fruits don't mean you ain't going to be in God's kingdom. It just means you ain't the first fruits, man. That's it. It seems like niggas get offended about that. I'm part of the 144. Niggas, no, you not. You ugly and you dumb. Come on, man. He said the best. That's what the first fruits is. And we can look at, that with Cain and Abel. The first fruits is the best. It's like what the part of the what word tell you is the best? Which one is the best? Them kidneys, nigga. Them kidneys. That man want the best part. Now, all jokes aside, when it comes to most people with their service of God, that's why they don't serve like they do, because you don't give them your best. You give them what's left. You pull like what Cain pulled. You don't give them your best. And see, that's not only just with God. Most people don't do that in your marriage. You don't do that in your friendships. You know what I'm talking about? You don't do that in your chosen vocation or profession or business. You don't give your best. And when you don't give your best, what you think you're going to get back in return? How you think you're going to get the best when you don't get the best? That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You can't be giving, 50% effort and expect 100% results. That's insane. You gave 50% effort, you're going to get a 50% return, which means that likely you're going to get nothing in return. How many times we talk about people going to the gym and they don't get no effort and their body look the same? Shalom, Brother Shaul, man. You've been training for 15 years, your biceps still small, your chest still flat, your shoulders still shrunken in because you ain't putting forth no effort. You ain't lost no weight. You ain't put on no muscle. You've been in here every day for 10 years, but you were playing around. It do, and that's why a lot of people don't get out of the word what they want out of the word because they give piss poor effort. You know why they give piss poor effort? Because these wicked niggas tell you all you need to do is don't eat some pork, put some fringes on your shirt, and show up on a Saturday. But that don't mean that you put an effort towards pleasing your God and actually, what's the word I'm looking for? Renewing your mind and actually making a change in your life. No, you just going through the motions.
I was listening to one of them once saved, always saved rooms, and people was like, once you save, you ain't got to do no work, you ain't got to do nothing. They're like, your salvation is already guaranteed.
That's somebody who going to hell. Somebody tell you, oh, once saved, you always saved, and you ain't got to do nothing. That's a nigga who going to hell. And you know why? Because that's a nigga who, this ain't what he wanted to do anyway. There's nothing in life that you do, and you don't have to do nothing. That's crazy as all out, though. So you know what I take that? See, most of them, when they say that, they talking about keeping some commandment. But see, I'm going to take it a step further. See, that wicked nigga tell him, oh, he don't got to be merciful. I ain't got to do nothing. So that hungry man, I ain't got to feed him. My wife, I ain't got to love him. My son, I ain't got to teach him. My brother, I ain't got to strengthen him. His burdens, I don't got to carry him. Yeah, see, that's what they expect. Them niggas wicked as hell. You know what I'm talking about? But that's a whole nother conversation. See, I know someone like that. You can sin till the day you die, can't be perfect in godliness and go to heaven. See, that's crazy. Yeah, Stephen say he been on TikTok listening to them oneness people. He say he been thrown. Tell him don't come on Clubhouse. He gonna have a headache. He gonna lose his mind. You know what I'm saying?
And a woman was literally like, you know, I'm saved. She literally was like, I can go out there and kill somebody right now.
This man said, this woman say she can go out and kill somebody right now. She good. Ma'am, you going to hell.
That's what niggas told her. They was like, man, you tripping.
Ma'am, you going to hell. You wicked as hell.
You can't be telling people that. Like, what, just because you say you go do whatever you want.
You can just do, I do whatever I want. I go eat a coochie. It don't matter.
She's like, I'm good.
I'm
locked in.
It don't matter. God love me. You know what I'm saying?
Go read Ezekiel 18.
That's insane, bro. That's insane. Straight. I know the Lord ain't do none of that. Say a whole headache and love to argue about what you eat and the Lord died for us to eat pork. Man, just say you are. See, now, y'all different. Some of y'all different because I'm not finna argue with him. Man, you want to eat pork, man? Go bat that pig on his back, nigga. I don't give a damn. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not finna argue with you about that. If you think he telling you to go eat it then. Go do whatever you want. See, y'all different than me. If somebody want to go sin and I know it's ungodly, go sin then. Go have all the sinning fun you want to have, man. Go do all of that. I'm not finna argue because you already know your mind and heart is set on doing that. You know what I'm saying? So knock yourself out. I just hope he stamp it when you see him. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to tell you, you can eat toad knuckles, you can eat possum back, you can eat raccoon chin. I wouldn't care what you go eat. You know what I'm saying? Go on and eat it, man. Because, and I mentioned that all jokes aside, right? I only mention that because people only want to talk about what you can and can't eat because those are light matters in the law. That's easy to do. Don't nobody want to talk about that inward man. Don't nobody want to go into the seat of them emotions. Nobody don't want to go in that layup, man. Don't nobody want to go in that inner chamber and deal with that real stuff that's in there. Deal with your real character. Let's deal with the fact that you are quick to get angry. Let's deal with the fact that you lustful. Let's deal with the fact that you are treacherous, deceitful, lying bastard. You know what I'm talking about? Let's deal with the fact that you are resentful, malicious, spiteful, duplicitous, and a multitude of adjectives that describe a wicked, no good nigga. But you don't want to talk about that. You're unmerciful, your judgment bad, you're faithless, but I can only eat no pork though, brother. So I keep the Shabbat. You might as well had not. You might as well have been out here, whenever you even when the Sabbath is, you might as well have been out here living your life. Because you're going to hell, cuz. Your inward man is filthy. It's despicable. It's vile. But you don't want to talk about that. What type of nigga can say he got Christ in him and he put his hands on his wife? Like, come on, man. You expect me to believe that? You expect me to believe you got the Holy Spirit in you and you done had sex with 4 or 5 different women. You ain't married to none of them. I told you earlier this week, boy, I literally heard a man say, God gonna kill you, nigga. I told you this, and your wife, and your kids, and that's why your house burned down. And you want me to believe God in you, cuz? You expect me to believe that? You expect me to believe that? This is the question. Why y'all niggas believe that? Man, once a nigga go to wishing death and all type of negative stuff on you, man, that's proof positive God ain't in them. Because where the long suffering at? God don't do that. Where's the gentleness and the goodness at? Where the mercy at? You doing this by the disagreement. David had a man wanting to kill him, and he ain't do that. Crazy, I have to tell him not to call me a Judaizer, because I don't want any of that. Man, listen. Them people call me whatever they want. I ain't gonna lie, they don't call me nothing because I don't talk to them. Because most of them are not astute enough, perceptive enough to even understand what I'm finna say to them. So it ain't even worth it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even worth it. I'd rather just keep on going. What the song say? I'd rather just walk on by. You know that song now? You know that one? Man, we got to get civic together, man.
Let's go compile you a playlist. Send it to me.
I look like a playlist make a nigga to you.
No, you not.
I'm not.
Google playlist already there.
No, it's just Apple Music just make one for you. They say heavy rotation on your favorites. They just make one for you out of nowhere. The chill mix. You got an iPhone? You ain't got Apple Music, what? So I
had to decide between YouTube Premium and that Apple Music.
I would have picked YouTube Premium too. Come on. So what?
Jeremiah 16:1.
Go ahead.
Say the word of Yahuwah came also unto me, saying, You shall not take you a wife, and neither shall you have sons or daughters in this place. For thus saith Yahuwah concerning the sons and concerning the daughters that are born in this place, and concerning their mothers that bear them, and concerning their fathers that begat them in this land.
My God, today. So guess what that means? He told him not to get married. Wouldn't that make him an unmarried man? Let's come over here to Daniel 1:11. Let's see if Daniel was an unmarried man. Because I don't think they cut Daniel we off. I'd be mad if they cut my wee off. You ain't no man no more. We don't want to start at 11. What we want to do is we want to start at verse 3. You can start at verse 1. Ain't gonna hurt nobody.
In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Yehuda, into his hand with part of the vessels.
Right. Yeah, I was doing the civil one. I wasn't doing Dion Warwick. Go ahead.
Of the house of Elohim, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. The king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs,
that he should what?
Bring certain of the children of the Asherah.
Of the whose seed?
Of the king's seed and of the princes.
And children of whom are what?
No blemish.
And is what?
Well favored.
Tell them what no blemish is, man. You boys ain't had no sin on them.
Blemish is moon, blemish, spot, defect, physical defect, of moral stain.
They ain't have no moral stain or no physical defect. That mean these weren't wicked men. These upright men. Go ahead, man. Tell them what well favored is, man. I almost forgot. They skillful in wisdom too, man.
Well is told, good, pleasant, agreeable.
These agreeable men. That's good. Go ahead.
Skillful in all wisdom, cunning in knowledge, understanding science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
So in this instance, when they tell them that they're going to be eunuchs, it's going to be in regards to the definition of a chamberlain. You know what I'm talking about? What we read in Matthew 19, but we're going to get there. Go ahead.
And whom they might teach the learning in the tongue of the Chaldeans. And the king appointed them a daily provision.
Now, when you look at this here as forth as being a bed chamberlain, Usually their job is to serve the king day and night, so they never marry, because that's their continual duty is to serve the king. You know what I'm saying? It's not that they've been physically castrated, but the king does not allow them to do anything other than to serve him. Kind of, you can see how that worked with 144. Because you have to understand something, man. When you got a wife and kids, that's going to divert your attention, as it should. And your God understand that. Go ahead, man.
And the king appointed them a daily provision of the king's meat and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years, that at the end thereof they might stand before the king.
Do you see that? Stand before the king. What are they going to do after that?
Now among these were the children of Yehuda, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, unto whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names. For he gave unto Daniel Belshazzar, and to Hananiah Shadrach, to Mishael of Meshach, and of Azariah Abednego. But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with a portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs.
That's good. Now read verse 9. Well, and when you read 9, you can read eunuchs in that, man.
So now Elohim had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs.
Don't tell him what eunuchs is, that man. See if we get the same definition we got from the first.
This is Saris, an official, a eunuch, a chamberlain.
So in this instance, this is a chamberlain.
Or from an unused root meaning to castrate.
You know what I'm saying? We know that these men, doesn't state that these men were castrated. So they were a chamberlain. What is a chamberlain? Well, let me tell you what a chamberlain is. I had some definitions of some other words we're supposed to have been looking at too. And let me hurry up and speed up this process. You've been to Chamberlain University, boy? So when you're dealing with a chamberlain, of course, this is an officer who manages the household of a monarch or a noble. That's someone who manages the property or affairs of someone else. Do realize in certain instances when the Lord used certain parables that every apostle, prophet, preacher, teacher, evangelist, so on and so forth, would be considered chamberlains because they are over. That's why he called them a householder, because they are over someone else's affairs. In this regard, this prince of the eunuchs, these men will become managers of this man's household. Their whole life is dedicated to the king, so they will remain unmarried. You know what I'm talking about? Because if they have a wife and kids, they can't serve the king without distraction. And I think some people don't understand that because we don't live in a society where you have a king. You know what I'm saying? And then that's another conversation. I'm not going to go through that. Go ahead, man. Read in verse 11.
Then said Daniel to Melzar, whom the prince of the eunuchs had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove your servants, I beseech you, 10 days. Let them give us pulse to eat and water to drink. Then let our countenances be looked upon before you, and the countenance of the children that eat of the portion of the king's meat.
Now that's good. Now we just established in the fact that these men are unmarried. You know what I'm talking about? And why are they unmarried? Their whole life is dedicated to the service of their king. In one instance, you see Jeremiah's service going to be dedicated to Yahuwah. He also telling him not to take wives and have children because he's going to kill these people. You know what I'm talking about? With Daniel, you see that they were taken as they came out of captivity and set in the king's house, and their entire duty in life is to serve the king. So when you see him saying there's some that make themselves eunuch for the kingdom of heaven's sake, now you have a scriptural framework of an example of what that looks like. See, everybody hears that and they think this here because your first thought process is to go to, I can't go without vagina. And it's bigger than that. Some men don't mind dedicating themselves to a purpose that is greater than pleasure. You know what I'm saying? But at the same token, you can come back to 1 Corinthians 7. This man is not saying that it's wrong for you to take a wife. See, when you look at Paul, who say Paul wouldn't have got married if he wouldn't have been converted? Which means at this particular point, if he's chosen to not get married, he was either getting older or he was a young man and said, screw it. Matter of fact, read about Anna the prophetess. Let's go to Luke 2, because it said, I would rather that the widows or the unmarried be as me. So let's look at an example of a woman who has a superior memorial. And we want to go to Anna the prophetess. And where is it at? I'm like,
36.
yeah, Luke chapter 2, what, verse 36? I'm looking right past it. Verse 36, come on with it. He said, I think they would also look at being honorable and noble, almost being knighted. Absolutely. It is looked at as being honorable and noble because that means that you're, and somebody mentioned Jephthah's daughter. We're going to get that. I almost forgot. Because that's the same thing she was doing with the bewailing of her virginity, but people take that as if she was killed. You don't go up every month and bewail someone's virginity if you killed them. That means that she wasn't a eunuch per se, because she doesn't have nothing to chop off, but she was a eunuch per se because she forsook marriage based off a vow that her father made. So that means she served God day and night. See, a lot of people, you hear that is because in our mind, for most people mind who in the word, they can't fathom completely and wholly dedicating their life to Yahuwah. Because they want to leave room. Well, what about me and what I want to do? So that's a hard thing to process in your mind that somebody is that dedicated to God and they say, I will forsake the things of a normal person because I would rather be close and near unto you. That's hard for people to process. You don't want a wife and kids. It's not that I don't want one. It's that my purpose is greater than that. I would rather go and do this. Everybody can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't do that. That's why he say every man can't receive this saying except those who it was for. You know what I'm saying? Now I ain't gonna sit here and say just at the end of the third, because obviously I have a wife in here, but I went a decade plus and I could have went 10 more. Now, I ain't had no problem with that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no problem. Like, I got to have this. You know what I'm saying? If this is what it is, this is what it is. But what got to be done, if this work got to be put on the street, and it's going to get put on the street by whatever means that he want me to put it on the street. Whether it would post it up in Justina, or whether it would post it up in off Barnes Road, where, you know what I'm saying, where nigga you to be at, whether it was moving and grooving cross town, whether it was going from spot to spot, whether it was in this congregation, whether it was when the camera was on or when the camera was off, it don't matter. The work gonna get moved. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Because if your mind focus on Yahuwah, you ain't got no room for it to be focused on your loins. But if your mind go to drifting and you go to thinking about them loins, you're gonna get in trouble. But I will say it's easier to do once you've mortified your members. Once you've actually put your flesh to death, and then you know that you're daily suffering in the flesh, those desires wane and wane and wane and dissipate. But if you don't stay focused on it, if you don't mortify the members and your mind is not on your God, then yeah, you're going to have a wrestlings with that. It doesn't make you wicked. It just makes you human. So then you have to have the spiritual astuteness, the self-awareness, you know what I'm talking about, to understand that and not let your desires overtake you. You know what I'm saying? That's it. Don't make you, see, people try to make you feel like you wicked because you have thoughts. You're a human being, bro. The man literally say, man, if thoughts rise up against Mashiach, to cast them down and bring them into the captivity of Mashiach. So that means the likelihood of you having certain desires that are against God's will coming up in your mind are bound to happen. The issue is not that they arise, it's what do you do when they arise? Do you follow after them to your own destruction, or do you cast them down and remain obedient? Simple as that. Because I know a lot of people like tell you still sin, you have wicked thoughts. Get your stupid behind out of here, nigga. You know what I'm saying?
That's all. That's the main argument out there.
Because they try to use that verse, the thoughts of foolishness is sin, but thoughts in that verse, that Hebrew word for thoughts don't mean that. That means you plotting and planning wickedness. You know how we know that? Because 2 Corinthians 10, the thoughts arising, he say you cast them down. How do we know that? Because the thoughts arise with David to kill Nabal. When Abigail gave him counsel, he cast them down to obey God. She could have said that. He could have still went around there and killed him. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know how many times you could read in this book where somebody thought to do something against the will of God and then they cast it down? Like, come on, man, what are we talking about? He said, I think they would all, I read that. He said, even on a natural tip, there's some people that don't want that. I remember seeing a clip of John Cena saying that he had things he wanted to. Yeah, I seen John Cena say he doesn't want to have children because he believes that he would be a terrible father. He said the reason being because he said just what you said, he is so dedicated to what it is that he wants to accomplish that he said he would not want to put his children through that by never being there. See, that's a driven man. But he ain't going without no yams, though. Yeah, he's still getting yams, though. You know what I'm saying? That's what Skip Bayless said that he was on. Why he never got married. I mean, had kids, I should say. And why he told his old lady, like, hey, he told her straight up, my job come before you. My purpose come before you. See, that's very difficult for most men to say. But if that's what type of time you on, you got to look that woman in the face and tell her that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, this come before. Look at, man, you know how many dudes who call themselves preachers who put their wife before the ministry? You ain't no preacher from God. You can't never put your wife before the ministry. I don't care what none of these goofy niggas say or what they think. If the living God hired for you to do a job, he got to come before everybody. You can't put him on the back burner to please your old lady. That means that woman wasn't there. You wasn't supposed to be married to that woman in the first place. Because any woman who a God wouldn't even consider asking you to do such a thing. She wouldn't even consider it. It wouldn't even be a thought that would come across her mind. Because she already know what manner of man she was marrying before she did it. Yeah, you got to weigh that out, man. You know, if you really locked in on what it is you want to do in life, man, you have to let that woman know that up front. If this is what you want to get down with, not make her think that you're going to put something to the side. Look here, man. That's why that woman left Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't putting football to the side. That's his whole, I ain't saying that to be funny. That's who he is. That's what I do. That's who I am. Like, this is what I do. And that's hard for some people to fathom. Say Christ said in a parable with two sons. Yeah. And that's the one did the will. He cast that thought down and obeyed. The other did not. Because he said he was going to do it. But then he didn't do it. You know? But see, that's a hard thing for. Look here, man. I'll be honest with you. And y'all know this. It's too many people who claim to do this here, man, who be faking and flogging and fronting and capping, that when people run across somebody who say, oh, nah, cuz this what I'm on, niggas think you playing. It's hard to believe. It's hard for people to believe, like, oh, nah, like, cuz I'm really on this. Like, nah, people think you playing. People think you playing. They really think you playing. A lot of women, if you tell her, oh, yeah, I ain't doing it, she think you playing. You know why? Because she done met another dude in the word. He bust up her back in the first week. He said the same thing. Let me tell you something, man. I told you this before. If a woman can get you to lay with her, man, and you done told her this ain't what you do, once you lay with her, boy, she know she your God then, cuz. That's why dudes don't be respecting women who say they be in the word if she gonna toot it. Because he had to know at this point, I'm your God now. Because you went against your God for me. So I don't care nothing about what you saying about your God, because I'm your God. Because you capitulated to my demands. You submitted to my will. You don't gotta like it, but that's the reality, and that's how they look at it. You know what I'm saying? So when you find somebody pressing you to do X, Y, Z, you already know that's not of God. Go ahead and leave them people alone. Get the people from around you, man. They're trying to cast a stumbling block in front of you so you could fall. Yeah, man, get them people from around you, man. They don't fool with you like that. Somebody who love you for real, man, they ain't gonna never do nothing to make you fall, man. They care about you too much. They want to see you win. I told you, man, that's what I was taught at an early age, man. But a woman who you choose to be with, she got to be on your team. She got to want to see you win. It's got to bring her delight to see you win. Man, if she don't want to see you win, man, she don't fool with you. You niggas worry about if she going to cook or clean. Who gives a damn about that? I told you this before. Whores cook and clean. Who cares? Do she want to see you win? And I ain't talking about win as far as making a bunch of money. I'm talking about, man, whatever it is that you done put your mind that that's what you want to do, that she is dedicated to the facilitating of your success. And whatever means that role that she got to play so you can win. Because you know why? Because it's supposed to be that everybody's supposed to be doing what's going to benefit the family, man. But see, you ain't got that no more because everybody, what's going to benefit me? F the family. Give a damn about the family. You don't even want no woman who don't care about the family. You know what people always say, man, they ain't got out here no more because they upset because grandma died or great grandma died because they was the glue that kept everybody together. You know why? Because she cared about the family. She didn't care that your uncle was an old lying bastard and all this other stuff. You going to bring your funky behind around here today. You going to do X, Y, Z. When she go, they say, oh, now the family done broke apart because she cared about the family being successful. You ain't got them type of people no more. And it's not because women are inherently bad. It's because we live in a selfish environment. And when you live in a selfish environment, then the men going to be selfish, the women going to be selfish, and then turn the children going to be selfish because neither of the parents give a damn about the children. They care about themselves. So then guess what that means? I don't care about my friends. I don't care about my cousins. I don't care about my siblings. I don't care about my grandparents. I don't care about my parents. Don't nobody care about nobody. I care about what I want. If there's a goal for the family, everybody in the family is supposed to be working together for the accomplishment of that goal for the family. Because you know why? Because you see yourself as a team. We come into the huddle. The father is the head of the household, meaning he the quarterback. He calling the play. He's directing everybody on the field for the purpose of leading the drive so we can score and win the game. Not, I told you to run a skinny post, but you're going to want a curl route. Jackass, they're in the cover two. I'm going to throw an interception. You're not where you're supposed to be at. You say, nowadays, these dudes resent having. You know why these dudes resent having a family? Because they're with a woman who they don't want. That goes back to what I mentioned when we started. If you are married to a woman that you don't want, you hate the fact that you have to go outside and fight for resources to bring it back to a woman you don't want. You got to clothe this woman. You got to feed this woman. You got to lay with this woman. You hate this woman. So in turn, you're going to hate taking care of her. And in turn, any children you have with her, you may hate them because you hate her. These are real things, man. This stuff happen out here every day. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing with a woman. If that woman hate that man and she don't want him, she gonna make his life a living hell, and she gonna treat them children based on how she feel about that man. But you know what the difference is? When both parties like each other, they don't have them problems. Do they have disagreements sometimes? Sure. Do they bump heads and they might not see eye to eye about stuff? Sure. But guess what? They love each other. They like each other. They can work past it. They can work past it because I like you. And you like me. So therefore, when we have children, the children are a physical expression of the love that we have for each other. So we're going to love our children. You ain't got that no more because you niggas horny. You know what I'm saying? Or you just want somebody next to you. Or you just want to be able to say you married just to be married. But you don't got who you don't want who you got. I don't even know how you go that far. Say waking up at 4:30 a.m. to live a life you don't want will destroy a person quick. That's why these dudes be killing themselves. And when I say killing themselves, I ain't talking about just actually taking their life. I'm talking about being a drug addict, being a drunk, being a whoremonger, a whoremongerous adulterer, by sleeping with a multitude of women, participating in risky sexual behavior because you don't like the woman you got at home. You hate your life. I told you when you hear the white man say, man, how you doing? Just living a dream. He hate his life. He hate his wife. He hate his kids. He hate his house. What's that white man who's supposed to, the Peterson dude? What his first name was? You know who, y'all know who I'm talking about? The white man that's in prison in California for killing his wife. I think his name was Peterson, man. I think his wife's name was Lacey. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, y'all know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? And it was another white dude. He found out his wife was having another baby. He killed her and the kids. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that with a woman you love and a woman you like. He thought about, damn, I got to take care of another one of these bastards from her. I'm finna kill her. Man, I'm telling you, man. And two people who love each other and like each other, they don't necessarily be with all that lovey-dovey stuff. That's it, Scott Peterson. That's his first name. Appreciate you, Crystal and Barry, and Joseph, and Monte. Now they all came through with it at the same time. So I just want to acknowledge all of them. Some people thinking that two people like each other, they got to be all lovey-dovey and all in each other's face and talking to each other on the phone all day and all night. That don't mean nothing because there's niggas who hate their wife and talk to her all day. Can't stand them. They do it because they don't want trouble. Okay, and Drew Peterson was the one who killed his wife. You know what I'm saying? Now you got some dudes that do stuff that they don't want to do because they hate this woman, but they don't want the trouble that would come from not doing it. So they just do it. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't cool. And I would just tell you, man, it's better for you to remain unmarried and be with somebody who likes you and who you like than to live a life where you're like, God damn, I gotta go home. You should never jump in your car and be like, damn, I gotta go home. You know what I'm saying? That means it's the wrong person living in there. That ain't good, man. I ain't trying to be funny either. That's not good, bro. That's not good, bro. That's a terrible way to live, man. Who want to live like that? You want to live like that? I ain't finna live like that. Before I live like that, I'm moving out. I ain't saying that to be funny either. I'm leaving. Matter of fact, I ain't leaving. She can get out. Or I'm gonna sleep in another room. Because if I'm paying for the house, I ain't leaving nowhere where I'm paying for. So let me take that back. I ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't going nowhere. I'm paying for it. I be goddamn. You know what I'm talking about? Same way you're talking about, you gonna sleep on the couch. I'm gonna sleep on the couch at my house. That's my bed. You sleep on no damn couch, you better roll over and be mad. Hell I look like. You can go sleep on the couch. That's your choice. I ain't mad enough to be like, you can't sleep in here with me. Shoot. Watch. Roll over and go right to bed. Sleep good too. You the one upset, not me. I'll be crazy. I'm going to bed. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up. Boy, I told y'all remember when we were watching Coming America 2, I was offended. You the king and a nigga put you out your bed? You ain't put me out my bed. We got a big bed too. You ain't even got to be near me. I ain't sleeping on no couch, and I'm the king. Out the whole room. This is my palace. If anybody finna get out, it's finna be you. I ain't even finna tell you to get out. So once you can't go get in the bed. Go sleep on the couch. Okay. I'm finna get in the bed butt naked and lay there. Ain't even for no sexual stuff. I'm finna get butt naked laying in bed. Roll all on the sheets too. Get comfortable. Fart and all. I guess I ain't going nowhere tonight, baby. You're gonna have to be mad. You'll be all right. I'll talk to you in the morning. You know what I'm talking about? See, if you love her, you be like this here, you could just be mad. Give him a hug and a kiss. I'll see you in the morning. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't got time to play with you. You're gonna get over it, but I'll get you some warm milk. You know what I'm talking about? I got time for that. Where we at with it?
Luke 2 and
36. Come on.
Saying there was one Anna, a prophetess, the daughter of Phanuel of the tribe of Asher. She was of great age and had lived with her husband 7 years from her virginity. She was a widow of about 4 years, which departed not from the temple, but served with fastings and prayers night and day.
She served with what?
Fastings and prayers night and day.
Her whole life was dedicated to serving God. That's 3 people. He said, I have my phone loud and laughing at video while she mad. Straight up. Watching YouTube and all. Dying laughing. I'm finna put Big Job playlist on. Say if you mad, now you can be super mad. You can put on a cape. Straight up and down. You will be mad, get you a cape, you can be super mad, nigga. Hell, you got going on. 1 Corinthians 7 and 9, man. That boy say watch a full Joe Rogan podcast. He said with the light on. Joe Rogan going for 2-3 hours every time. You hear me? 1 Corinthians 7 and 9.
Say, but if they cannot contain, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn. And unto the married I command, not I, but the Lord.
Now notice what he said. He said, I command, not I, but the who?
But the Lord.
But the who?
But the Lord.
What the Lord commanded.
Let not the wife depart from husband.
Well, let's go over here to Malachi chapter 2, verse 14. Excuse me. Let's see where it started at. Because you got to remember, when Paul wrote this epistle, it wasn't no Mark 10. So he couldn't reference Mark 10. You got to remember that now. Mark 10 wasn't there when he wrote this letter. Now, we can refer to Mark 10, but he didn't have no Mark 10 to refer to. So he was referring to Malachi. He said, I can be boo-hoo crying and something funny make me bust out laughing. I don't know, man. It depends what you're mad about. Because y'all let women be mad, boy, ain't nothing for to put no smile on her face. Then they get mad because you ain't mad. Oh, he act like he don't care because I don't. You know what I'm talking about? I don't. How you don't care that I'm upset? Why I got to care because you upset? Now I'm supposed to ruin my day because you mad? That's a personal problem for you.
Like being mad with your phone.
Yeah, now I got to say be sad or mad because you upset. It's lying to me. You don't care about nothing. I do care, but I don't care about that. You know what I'm talking about? Especially if I ain't did it to you. Now, it's different if I did it to you. You mad at me about some more other junk. Man, shoot. I'm finna go in here. I don't even got a video game. I'm finna go play one. I'm finna watch a nigga play a video game. You know what I'm talking about? That's what I'm finna go do. It's the next best thing. See what say, I got a video game. I'm going to play. He said, you're not being sensible. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's different if you the reason why they upset. Now you got to care about that if you did it. Now you're inconsiderate if you don't care if you did it. That make them double mad, boy. If you did it and you still don't give a damn. But you know, it's different for ladies because, you know, ladies don't get over stuff as quickly as most men do. They can be upset by some junk and 10 minutes later, that's past. It's over with now. They'll be like, how could you get over it so fast? Because they be still be thinking about it and playing it over in their mind and running the tape back and running it back and running it back and running it back. She done run it back for 3 weeks. I ain't finna dwell on that. That junk over with. You know what I'm saying? Okay, you pissed me off. I ain't finna be pissed off with you for a month. All right, I don't let that go. You know what I'm saying? You say you do prefer to laugh. My life been hell. I feel you on that. Now see, and another thing, you say you like to talk it out, nigga, and hug it out and be friends again. I mean, most of the time, shoot, niggas don't be tripping anyway. Y'all be mad. They ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I mean, but not every man ain't like that. I'm like that. I'm not finna be walking around here mad about some junk for days, man. Especially if it ain't nothing I can control. What's the point? Who am I hurting by being mad? Myself. I'm raising my blood pressure up. You know what I'm saying? Nigga been done stroked out by that junk. Man, hell no. Hell no. Ain't got time for that. That junk wasn't plugged in the whole time. Say hit him with that and another thing while you mad. I ain't gonna lie to you. You hit me with another thing, I'm walking off. My mama ain't talking to me like that. And another thing. All right. I tell you, one thing I learned early in life to have the ability to do is I can block you out. Joanne was sitting next to me screaming and hollering because I told her I ain't putting that shirt on. Kept watching Jim Cornette talk about wrestling as if she wasn't even sitting there. She was right there in my ear hollering. I ain't hear none of it. No, she had to change her shirt 2 times already. Want to put back the shirt she started with. I said, I ain't putting that shirt on. You put that shirt on yourself. I ain't doing it. Nah, button because you couldn't get it over your big old head, so you could change t-shirts, and I ain't doing it. What? Mama said you put the butt in my butt. Oh, I definitely did. And I think I care because you went and told your mom. I ain't diabolical. I done already told her. Joanne changed clothes 4 or 5 times if you let her shoot 10, 12 if you ain't paying attention. You started with this shirt. We ain't finna come back to it. And I know you know how to put on your own clothes. Now, you ain't have no buttons to stop from getting over your big old head. You put that shirt on yourself. I don't want to. She sat there screaming. I ignored her. It was even like she wasn't even there. So what? And guess what she did? Stop crying. And guess what she ended up doing? Putting her shirt on. I ain't have to yell. I ain't have to pop. I ain't have to scream. I told you I ain't putting that shirt on. That's what I meant. And I ignored her. And guess what she did? Put her shirt on. So did. And I'll do it again. Come on, friend. What we at with?
Malachi 2:14.
Run it.
Yet you say, wherefore? Because Yahuwah have been witness between you and the wife of your youth.
The wife of your who?
Of your youth.
What up?
Against whom you have dealt treacherously.
Dealt what?
Treacherously.
Now, y'all know that word treacherously is begad. That means to be deceitful. So you've been dealing deceitful with your wife. What she been doing? Go ahead.
Yet she is your companion.
She's your who?
Companion.
And the wife of your what?
Covenant.
The wife of your what?
Covenant.
So I don't know why you ladies be letting these niggas tell you they can drop wee-wee in you and you his wife when he say you the wife of my what?
Covenant.
My God, today. Now, I've been showing you that for years. I don't even know how y'all fall for that. Because if you got Ezekiel 16 showing you how Yahuwah entered the covenant for his wife, I don't know how you let a man play you out of one. You know what I'm saying? Now, we were talking about this the other day, brothers. We're talking about ketubas. Now, I looked into this years ago. When I say years ago, this is literally 13 years ago. So the information might not be as accurate as it was then. But from what I can see, the mass majority of states in the United States of America do not recognize private marriage covenants. And when I say recognize marriage covenants, meaning they're not enforceable by law. That's what I mean by that. You know what I'm saying? Now, you do your own research. Now, I looked this up myself because at the time, my sister was concerned if she possibly could have been common law married to the man that she had been with for multiple times. I can tell you that most states in the United States do not recognize common law marriage of any type. I can say specifically that the state of Florida does not at all. If my memory serves me correctly, I think Louisiana might be one of the few states that recognize private marriage covenants. At one particular time, it was extremely difficult to get it. What it was is that if there was a private marriage covenant, it is a lot more difficult to get divorced than it was when they were recognized, from what I can remember. Don't quote me on this because this is almost a decade and a half because I haven't looked at that recently. You know what I'm saying? But I do know for certain that Florida does not recognize common law marriages of any type. And I know New York State does not, because that's what that woman tried with DMX when he died, as saying that she had a right to his estate. But I do know for the most part, most states do not recognize private marriage covenants. It's enforcing them by law for the dividing of assets and or power of attorney in the event of medical incapacitation. You know what I'm saying? Because I know some brews do not want to be legally married. I'm not here to argue with anyone about the validity of being legally married or not, because I don't care. And what I mean by that is that's a personal decision for you to make. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to be married in the state of where you reside, that's your business. But if you don't have a covenant of any type between you and that man, then you a fool. And I ain't no other way to put it. To be 100% honest with you, ain't no other way to put it. There has to be a covenant of some type. Because he literally said it's the wife of your what, David?
Your youth and of your covenant.
Of your covenant. So that means a covenant is a contractual agreement. And the thing is why a lot of people go into hell, because I don't care if it was a legal marriage or a private covenant. That's a contract. And if you did anything that was contrary to the terms of that contract, you're a covenant breaker. And I don't think people pay attention to that. You're a covenant breaker. Now, we're going to read it in a moment because we were discussing this also about what the Lord said as far as fornication being, sexual improprieties, if you would, as being the reason. Because you know why? Because that's a breaking of the covenant. That's why he said you can divorce and marry another. And we'll look at that in terms of in Romans 7 if you want to. You know what I'm talking about? As far as, touching on old things we done discussed in this man letter before. But nevertheless, her not cooking stuff how you like it is not breaking of a covenant. And that's what niggas' problem is. Oh, the law dedicate for divorce. That's how I know you niggas wicked as hell. Because this woman ain't broke the covenant. Her not doing something you don't like is not breaking the covenant. Grow up, nigga. Get some maturity about yourself. If the woman doing stuff you don't like, then show her what you like. That's not means to I want a new wife now. Now imagine if Yahuwah did us like that. You nigga going to hell. But he ain't do you like that, but yet you claim his name and you do your wife like that? You wicked bastard. Ain't that what it is? You's a wicked, dirty face, no good bastard, what you is.
Arizona, Arkansas, Louisiana. What's the only ones that recognize private marriage covenants?
There it is. Arkansas, Arizona, and Louisiana are the only states that recognize private marriage covenants. So my memory did serve me correctly with Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember seeing that about Louisiana. Well, what states recognize common law marriage?
So one said it was only 7 states, another one said it was 9, and then including the District of Columbia. So it says 2024, 9 states, and
9 states recognize common law marriage. Colorado, Iowa, Kansas, Montana. Who living in Montana?
Oklahoma, Rhode Island, Texas,
Utah, and DC. I can see why Utah would be in there since they recognize polygamy to an extent, but it's still not legal marriages and then for the polygamy, because that's bigamy. If you don't know what that is, that's being married to more than one person at a time, and you can go to jail for that. Yeah, bigamy is what it's called. You cannot be legally married to more than one person in the United States of America. You're going to go to jail. You can be legally married to more than one person in other countries. That's why when some people scream the law of the land, they make the law of the land be comprehensive to the whole world. That's the law of the United States of America. There are other countries where that's not against the law. So now you have to look at not necessarily the law of the land, but what is the will of God? What is it that he desires? You know what I'm saying? Because there's some African countries and Arab countries where that is not illegal. You know what I'm saying? You can legally have 3, 4, 5 wives. Is this man in sin because this country allow him to do it, but America don't let you do it? You see the conundrum that you're going to have yourself in at that point? So that might not always be the, what's the word I'm looking for, argument to take. But nevertheless, go ahead and what verse you in Malachi chapter 2?
Yeah, I just read 14.
Malachi 2 and 14, run it again from the top.
Say, yet you say, wherefore? Because Yahuwah have been witness between you and the wife of your youth, against whom you have dealt treacherously. Yet she is your companion and the wife of your covenant.
What else?
And did he not make one?
Did he not make what?
One.
So if he said he don't make one, who he taking you back to? Adam. Go ahead.
Yet had he the residue of the spirit. And wherefore one? That he might seek a godly seed.
Wherefore how many?
Godly seed.
No, wherefore how many?
1.
3,
1,
7,
1,
22,
1.
that he might have
A godly seed. Therefore, take heed to your spirit.
Take heed to your who?
Your spirit.
And deal not.
Let none deal treacherously against the wife of his youth.
Don't be deceitful with your old lady, man.
Say, for Yahuwah the Elohim Yasharal said he hate putting away.
Now, tell him what put away mean by definition. So he say, and tell him what hate mean. Because that's what we were talking about too. Some people look at putting away and divorce as being two different things. But they're not two different things.
Hate is sonate, to hate.
I mean, I hate this.
Putting away is shalak, to send away, to let go.
But you want one of these, man? No. I ain't talking, you're talking to your mama. But you can catch these hands too. No, you ain't good.
To be sent off, be put away, be divorced.
To be divorced. Now he said that he hates divorce. So remember, he said I don't command but the Lord. Go ahead, finish the verse, man. Malachi 2:16.
For Yahuwah Elohim Yasharal say that he hate putting away. For one cover violence with his garment, saith Yahuwah of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit that you deal not treacherously.
Don't deal treacherously with your old lady. So when you come back over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 10, now you see where he get this from. Because we could go back to Mark, but again, I have to reiterate, Mark chapter 10 wasn't there. Matthew chapter 19 wasn't there. Matthew chapter 5 wasn't there when he wrote this letter. So he's going off of Genesis to Malachi. That's all he got to go off of. So when he say unto the married, I command not I, but the Lord. Not let not the wife depart from her husband. He getting that from what's said in Malachi. Now, whether you agree with it, that's between you and God. But clearly, he when he say not I, but the Lord, where you think he getting that from? But you say Deuteronomy 24:1 say this. Deuteronomy do say that. But Yahuwah talking to Malachi, he telling you, man, I ain't down with that. So then when the Lord come back in Mark, he let you know why he ain't down with that. You can read Deuteronomy 24:1, brother. See, everybody love the law till the law prickle. Because the law, the passage for divorce wasn't put there so you could divorce your wife. It's so the Lord wouldn't have to kill you as a people. When he found some uncleanliness in you. Uh-oh, they ain't ready for that. See, they don't want to hear that door. My God, today. Because he found some uncleanliness in you. You wasn't out the wilderness good, and he found some uncleanliness in you. Come on.
So when a man had taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes because he had found some uncleanness.
And that's Irva, that's unclean. Go and tell him. Just read it. You probably won't get to Romans 9 tonight. It's okay.
Irva, nakedness, nudity, shame, pudenda. So
this is some shame. Only thing that can bring you shame is sin.
Improper behavior.
Improper behavior, indecency. Sin brings shame because he said the reproaches of them that reproach you fell on me. That's shame. That's a dishonor. Say sin is a reproach to any people. You know, when they made that golden calf, that was a shame unto them. That was indecent behavior. People play wide and loose because you know people love it loose. You know what I'm talking about? With what this is saying to you, man, that don't mean what you gonna say she indecent because she did X, Y. That's not indecent and improper behavior because you didn't like it. Come on, man. As forth as a godly standard is concerned, is what I'm saying. Go ahead.
Say then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand.
Tell
and
him
send
what
her out of his
divorcement
house.
means, man. Didn't he tell you in Isaiah, where's the bill of your mother's divorce when I put her away? Ain't that what he said?
That's Keruthuth, divorce, dismissal, divorcement.
Isaiah 50:1. And I can understand why divorce and remarriage and things with sex and marriage are serious to people because, I mean, probably outside of faith and pride, them loins is probably the most difficult thing that people wrestle with. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why. We are not, what's the word I'm looking for? We're not inconsiderate of that fact. Because that's the reality, man. I remember when I used to be in the street talking with my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Riding away with the word. He was like, man, you know them hoes, man. You know, woo, woo, woo. Because that was hard for him. You know what I'm saying? You know, the book tell you that every man know the plague of his own heart. Oh, yeah, for sure. I was referring to Proverbs 14 and 34, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Some men don't wrestle with sex like that. Some men do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is different for everybody, man. Just here with it. Come on.
They'll say, if you where's the bill of your mother's divorcement? Whom I have put away.
Oh, we got both words there at the same time, man. So go ahead and see what word was used. If they the same words, just acknowledge they the same word. I can tell you divorce.
Divorcement is the same word.
And put away.
That's the same word, shalak.
Hey, I divorced her and told her to slide. I divorced her and told her to slide. It would need to be, say, divorced twice. So this don't mean separation. You don't put a woman away and you separated from her. You put her away. You got to get out. You ain't telling nobody to get out so they can come back. Come on, man. Come on back to Deuteronomy 24 and 1. Go ahead.
When a man has taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he had found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. When she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. If the latter husband hate her and write a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled.
Let me tell y'all something. When you look at this in regards to the law and the children of Yasharal, like I said, I mentioned Ezekiel 16. You got to read that on your own time. But didn't he take you as his wife? That's what he say there. He said, it was the time of love. I spread my skirt upon you, and I entered into a covenant with you. And he said, you open your feet to everybody that passed by. So guess what that means? He can't marry you again. So while you niggas want to scream the law like that, just know that he can't marry you again. Because he gave you a bill of divorce and you went and laid with another God, and now you can't come back to him. So when you run across dudes who say they don't believe in Yahushua HaMashiach, then you ask that funky nigga, well, how you going to get back to Yahuwah? You done been with another man, ho. Your law say you can't come back to your husband, ho. How you going to remedy that, you funky ho? Straight like that. See, you don't want to answer that question, my nigga. Well, I got you, Misha. He said, if the person has asthma and flares up with mucus being in the lungs. Oh, now mucus isn't unclean as far as body fluids is concerned. It's going to be pus. It's going to be blood, semen, or pus. Do you know what I'm saying? So if you have a sore that's continually leaking blood, if you have a sore that is continually leaking pus, or are you seen with semen, then you would be unclean. But mucus is not one of. And you can read Leviticus 15 in this entirety, and you can hit my phone if you see something. Yes, a wound. Yeah, a wound. If you have a wound that is leaking blood or pus, then you would be considered to be unclean until that wound stops leaking blood or pus. All that's in Leviticus 15, by the way. You know what I'm saying? That greater detail. We just went to the part about the seed of copulation. But all that is mentioned in Leviticus 15. It's the same token. That's why, like when y'all on your menstrual cycle, you unclean because it's the emitting of blood. You know what I'm talking about? That's what make you unclean. Because if now bleeding in and of itself don't make you unclean, but if you have bleeding from a wound, according to Leviticus 15, you would be unclean. But mucus, no. That's just a little snot. You know, just a little, what you call it, respiratory lining of the lungs, if you would. That is not deemed to be unclean, as far as Leviticus 15 is concerned. Yes, even if it's bound up and it's leaking, you still unclean. Yeah, it's not contingent on whether it's bound or not. and just say, hey, if you leaking. But remember, it's not something. This is something in regards to. Of course, this is not necessarily the case now. You couldn't participate in certain Kadash things if you were unclean. That's all. When you unclean, that's all that means. There's certain things that you would not be able to participate in. Not that you just, oh, you wicked bastard. You know what I'm saying? See right here, verse 2. When any man have a running issue out of his flesh, his issue, he is unclean. And this shall be the uncleanness of his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue or his flesh be stopped with his issue, he is unclean. And anything that issue get on is unclean. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you couldn't come to the temple, you couldn't eat certain sacrifices, you know what I'm saying? You couldn't participate in certain things if you were unclean. It's the same way if there's a sanctuary that's sanctified for worship and you had that going on, you ain't supposed to be coming in there. They still ain't drafted that nigga. That nigga might not get drafted at all. Damn! Come on with it, man. Where we at with it? No, I just got a notification. They said they thought the Steelers would grab him. And they just said the Steelers grab somebody else.
Verse 4.
Of what?
Deuteronomy 24.
Come on.
Say her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled. For that is an abomination before Yahuwah.
So come over here to Romans 7:1. He said, I heard people argue about that before. I have a question as well. What about eczema on the skin? No, eczema is not considered to be unclean because that's not an issue. That's just your skin dry. Yeah, because my children got eczema. And one of my nieces got it. But yeah, that's not a... that's an inflammation of your skin. And see, where some of people look at that is, that's not the same as the inflammation that you're going to read about because it's specifically referring to leprosy. And eczema is not leprosy. Leprosy is something that is, and that's contained in Leviticus 14. Leprosy is something that, you ain't mistaken no leprosy. So yeah, leprosy is contained in Leviticus 14. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with leprosy before. You seen somebody with leprosy before? Say an overactive immune system, I believe, for eczema. That would make sense. And leprosy is an infectious disease which causes skin lesions. So leprosy comes from bacteria. Yeah, leprosy. See, armadillos carry leprosy. If you around here fooling with armadillos, you should have leprosy. If you out here hanging with armadillos, you deserve whatever that armadillo gives you. I promise you that. You know what I'm talking about? And you ain't got no business out here fooling with no armadillo. Man, we used to see dead armadillos in the middle of Merrill Road all the time when I was a little boy. I'd be like, damn. Them niggas look like they bite too. We stay away from them. Come on, Civic. The Romans 7:1.
Say, no, you not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
You speak to who?
To them that know the law.
That what happened?
How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he lives.
We already know that.
For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to her husband so long as he lives.
You seen that in Malachi, didn't you? Go ahead.
But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of husband.
She could marry somebody else when he died. But what he say?
So then, if while her husband lives, she be married to another man.
She be called
an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress.
Now,
she be married to another man.
Now you just seen the law just said not in an adulterous type of time, but if a man put his wife away, we just read in Isaiah 50 that he gave you a bill of divorce and put you away. Get Jeremiah 3:8 if you would. He said, but if you go be with another man, you can't go back to your first husband. We know Yasharal went to another man. You can read it in Leviticus 6, Ezekiel 16. He said, you open your feet to everybody pass by, and to his it war. Or you can read it in Hosea 2, where you say, hey, you went to your lovers. He said, it's better for me to go back to my first husband. Your law say you can't come back to this man. Because we can read where he said he divorced you. That means he had to come up with a plan to get his banished back again. Ain't that what it said in Samuel? Come on. Jeremiah 3:8.
It said, I saw when for all the causes whereby backsliding Yasharal committed adultery, I have put her away.
Oh, he did what to her?
Put her away.
Does that sound like separation, or is that the same word we seen earlier? Sound like divorce to me, but tell him what word it is, man. Just in case niggas think we pulling stuff out our butthole.
Same word.
Same word. Said, do you plan on touching on Galatians 5:3? Lord willing, not tonight though. Ain't no telling. Come on with it.
I put her away and given her a bill of divorcement or a bill of divorce, yet her treacherous sister Yehuda feared not, but went and played the harlot also. And it came to pass through the likeness of her whoredom that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks.
In what regard, that? So I understand what you're asking. So I just want you to see this man say he gave you a bill of divorce, and he gave you a bill of divorce, and you went and been with another God. He can't take you back. Come on back to Romans 7. Just so you can understand what Paul's saying here, man. Romans 7:1 all over again.
Know you not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law hath dominion over a man as long as he lived. For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to husband.
Now listen, people ask this question all the time. So you can't divorce your husband if he doing X, Y, Z. Listen, you can divorce your husband or your wife anytime you get good and doggone ready to. But can you marry somebody else is the question. Nobody said you got to stay and deal with nothing. See, this is the thing where we get in trouble at. You seeking justification for what man say. It don't matter what man say. Is Yahuwah going to approve what you're doing? Because I can tell you can divorce and remarry, but if Yahuwah don't approve it, what good is it was if I told you that? And if I told you can't, but Yahuwah said you could, then what does it matter if I told you that? I mentioned all that to say that most people ask questions in certain situations, more specifically with this, hoping that an individual is going to give them the answer that they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you what to, man, you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody telling you can't leave your husband, but can you marry another man and it be pleasing in God's eyesight? Now that's a whole nother conversation. And what a lot of people don't want to hear is their behavior being restrained. That's just to be honest with you. Because we're going to find out Yahuwah didn't divorce his wife and go marry somebody else. He figured out a way to get his wife back who didn't deserve to be taken back. So if you got your husband who didn't divorce and remarry, why the hell you doing it? If it ain't no grounds for it. He had grounds and still found a way to take his wife back. You niggas just, it'd be different if you called her outside the bounds of the covenant. Y'all just be mad. You know how many people, I ain't saying this to be funny or disrespectful. You know how many people go into hell because they took marriage vows and broke them? And you got people be like, oh, that's before the truth. That man ain't never said nothing about no before you found out you was an Israelite, you wicked bastard Jew. A vow is a vow, nigga. You made a promise, nigga. He say, man, you vow a vow. It's better for you to not vow than to vow and not pay. Which is why the Lord told you not to do it. Because he telling you what Solomon told you. And he telling you good common sense. A votive offering is a free will offering. You promise to God something. Boy, you got to keep that. You can't tell this woman, before God, I vow for better or for worse. And then when it get worse, you leave her. Not only are you a covenant breaker, you a liar. And then we just read, do not deal treacherously with the wife. Boy, you going to hell, boy. Boy, you see how tight that is, boy? Boy, you going to hell, boy. You going to hell, boy. And you don't be the one backdoor yourself into it. Listening to a jackass. Get Judges 11, because we didn't read chapter. I'm sorry. We read 2 men. Let's read 2 women. Judges 11 and 28, and we'll come back to wherever we was at. What it is, 11:28.
Say, howbeit the king of the children of Ammon hearkened not unto the words of Jephthah, which he sent him. Then a ruach of Yahuwah came upon Jephthah.
We don't want all that. Come on down to 36. 34. Judges 11, 34.
And Jephthah came to Mizpeh unto his house, and behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she, his only child, and beside her he had neither son nor daughter. And it came to pass when he saw her that he rent his clothes and said, alas, my daughter, you have brought me very low.
Very low.
You are one of them that trouble me.
You trouble me, baby. Now, for those of you who don't know, before he went out to the battle to Ammon, he made a vow that whatever would come, first thing come out of my house, I would give it to Yahuwah for a burnt offering. Go ahead.
So you have brought me very low. You are one of them that trouble me, for I opened my mouth unto Yahuwah, and I cannot go back. And she said unto him, my father, if you have opened your mouth unto Yahuwah, do to me according to that which you have proceeded out of your mouth. For
the daughter was just.
For as much as Yahuwah have taken vengeance for you of your enemies, even of the children of Ammon. She said unto her father, let this thing be done for me.
Do it.
Let me alone 2 months that I may go up and down upon the mountains and bewail my virginity.
Tell them what bewail my virginity means. If I'm finna kill somebody, what they need 60 days to bewail their virginity for? You got niggas walking around here thinking they killed this woman that offered to Yahuwah. You got to be stupid as the day you were born.
Bewail, because to weep, bewail, cry, to shed tears.
She shedding tears for her virginity. What's she doing that for? He finna kill her. Niggas seen burnt offering and automatically went to thinking what you do with Betsy. That's what you do with a cow, nigga, not a human. You goddamn. I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead. Virginity, sir.
That was Bethlehem virginity.
So she finna cry about her virginity. You know what that means? She ain't finna get no husband. Keep going. So you can find cause for divorce, sexually explicit to adultery or more, but you can't remarry for any. No, you can't remarry for any cause. He said that, and we'll look at that in the law, because that's why Joseph was ready to put Mary away, because he thought another man had been up in them yanks. You know what I'm talking about? And you see that in the law, if the woman done been with a man, and you done took her in Deuteronomy, and you find out she ain't no maid, she getting stoned. You know what I'm saying? Because when you look at with adultery or things of that nature, you done broke the covenant, which is what you seen why Moses threw the 2 tables of stone down. You know what I'm talking about? Because they committed idolatry. They broke the covenant. You know what I'm saying? Just in the aspect of, you can't just be, oh, I don't like her. I want, what people come up with now are irreconcilable differences. From a godly point of view, that ain't enough to divorce your wife. That's not the breaking of the covenant. She has to violate the covenant. And the Lord made it tighter and said, except it be for this. Because when you look at it, what behavior could a woman do to violate the covenant for you to get rid of her? Except for that. That's about it. That's about it. But even still, I tell you this here, because you can make the decision. You can get rid of them. You know, you who will look for reconciliation. And all attempts, everything, we always go on, hey, man, if it's all possible, reconcile. But if you can't, you can't. Yeah, I mean, that's death. Death's obvious. He said you could remarry if you die. You know what I'm talking about? But the issue coming in is that we're not even talking about, because fornication just means sexual impropriety as a whole. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can't sit back and say, well, I'm going to divorce a woman because she wasn't a virgin, but you knew she wasn't a virgin when you married her. You know what I'm saying? You already knew she wasn't no virgin when you got her. But go ahead.
So then he said, go, and he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains.
Of course, this is a testimony of Yahushua. We bewailing his sadness with the apostles. Go ahead.
And bewailed her virginity upon the mountains, and it came to pass at the end of 2 months that she returned unto her father, who did with her to his vow, which he had vowed, and she knew no man.
She knew no what?
She knew no man.
She knew no what?
No man.
Now, why they gonna mention she don't know no man if he killed her? Now, go ahead and tell them what she knew no man from. That's how you know these niggas stupid, man.
No is yada.
And it means to lie carnally. She didn't lie carnally with no man. She never experienced a man sexually. Continue, because we got to roll.
That the daughters of Yasharal went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah, the Gileadite, 4 days in a year.
So this woman became voluntarily unmarried. Come on back to where you was at the quote.
What was it? We was back in Romans 7.
Yeah, Romans 7:1, one more time.
Say, know you not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law, how that the law have dominion over a man as long as he live. For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to her husband.
As long as he what?
He live.
But if he died?
She is loose from the law of husband. But then if while her husband lives,
and she be
married to another,
she
shall be called an adulteress.
What else?
But if her husband be dead,
she is
free from that law.
And she shall.
So that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
Listen.
Wherefore, my brethren, you also are become dead to the law.
You become dead to the what?
To the law.
That.
By the body of Hamashiach, that you should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, that we should bring forth.
Now listen, now how does this work? When you go read in Leviticus, a high priest cannot be married to a profane woman or a whore or a divorced woman. So if you believe that Yahushua HaMashiach is the high priest after the order of Melchizedek, he cannot be married to Yasharal. So while he was the son of Adam, he could not be married to you. Now, if you are familiar in Ezekiel chapter 44, I want to say about verse 20 or 21, it says that the high priest had to marry a maiden or a woman who was divorced who had a priest before. Go get that for him. Ezekiel 44 and 20. This is the same spot where it come in at where you talk about that the priest shouldn't let their hair grow long. You know what I'm talking about? Where you see that in 1 Corinthians 11, Ezekiel 44 is where he get that from. Come on, man. Tell me, give me 17, man. Ezekiel 44 and 17.
Saying it shall come to pass that when they enter in at the gates of the inner court, they shall be clothed with linen garments. Mm-hmm. No wool shall come upon them while they minister in the gates of the inner court and within. They shall have linen bonnets upon their heads and shall have linen breeches upon their loins.
Yep.
They shall not gird with anything that cause sweat.
Yep.
When they go forth unto the other court, even to the other court to the people, they shall put off their garments wherein they minister and lay them in the Kadash chambers.
Yep.
They shall put on other garments. They shall not sanctify the people with their garments. Neither shall they shave their heads, nor suffer their locks to grow long.
Neither shall they suffer their what?
Locks to grow long.
But they shall
only poll their heads.
Tell them what poll means. So when you see that, that's where Paul get that from. It didn't just say not to suffer their locks to grow long. Mm-hmm. That's where you get it from.
Kasam, to cut, clip, trim, shear.
That means they gonna trim their hair. And you know who else polled their hair because their hair was long? Absalom. So he's telling you it's not that you can't have locks, they can't grow long. When they get too long, you trim them. It's not.
Should they do it every year? Because they keep growing.
Because they keep growing. And that's where he's getting that from in 1 Corinthians 11. So let's continue.
It said, neither shall any priest drink wine when they enter into the inner court. Neither shall they take for their wives a widow, nor her that is put away.
Can't take her that's who?
A widow, nor her that is put away.
Go ahead.
But they shall take maidens of the seed of the house of Yasharal.
That's why I say I've made espouse you as a chaste virgin, because you would have to be born again. You'd have to be pure. High priest can't marry no whore man.
Or a widow that had a priest before.
But guess what? Yasharal is a widow who had a priest before. And he telling you that. See, when Yahushua went in the grave as the son of Adam, he couldn't be married. You still were divorced from your husband. But see, when he came out the son of God, now you dead to that law, so you could be married to this man and that you could be one with him. Because if not, this is in 2 Samuel chapter 14. I want to say verse 31. Read that for me just in case niggas think I'm making that up. I still got time. We still ain't even got to the point about the 144,000 being virgins. But you know, I told you through these letters, we ain't gonna rush through them. We'll walk it down. We ain't even read Mark 10 yet. You know what I'm talking about? Go ahead.
Says 2 Samuel 14 and 21.
I said 31. 31 might be what we need.
Mm-hmm. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom to his house and said unto him,
What he said?
Wherefore have your servants set my field on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent you, saying, Come here, that I may send you to the king, to say, Wherefore am I come from Geshur? It had been good for me to have been there still.
2 Samuel 14, start at verse 8. 2 Samuel 14 and 8. Say, is dead to the law, meaning the law. Yeah. And it ain't talking about, when you see dead to the law, he ain't never talking about the instructions, ever. You know what I'm talking about? Never. Not one time. What it's saying is in the regards to you, he can't take you back. Like he telling you, he was comparing a woman who married somebody else while her husband alive. She's an adulteress. But if he's dead, she's not an adulteress. She can be married to another. He was using that, comparing Yasharal being able to be married back to Mashiach. Because the law say, you've been with other guys, you're an adulteress, but now you married to somebody else, though your husband be dead. And that's what this 2 Samuel 14 finna come through about, because as we read in Deuteronomy 24, Israel couldn't be married back to this man. Because you done been with another man, you can't come back. So as we're going to read, he devised the means to bring his banished back to him. Or what we're going to read about in regards to the reconciliation, which is why I say in all things seek to reconcile, because that's the will of God, because that's what he did. You know what I'm talking about? Now, if you can't reconcile, then you have to do what you got to do. 2 Samuel 14 and 9.
Saying, the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My lord, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house.
Oh my, that's somebody saying, I'll take the sin.
And the king and his throne be guiltless.
And
the king said, Whosoever.
You see that there, man? The king and the throne of Abba and Shamaim was guiltless, because Yahushua said, I'll take that iniquity on me. Praise you. Go ahead.
And the king said, Whosoever said aught unto you, bring him to me, and he shall not touch you anymore. Then says she, I pray you, let the king remember Yahuwah your Elohim, that you would not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy anymore. Lest they destroy my son. And he said, As Yahuwah live, there shall not one hair of your son fall to the earth. Then the woman said, Let your handmaid, I pray you, speak one word unto my lord the king.
Speak it then, baby.
And the woman said, Wherefore then have you thought such a thing against the people of Elohim?
For
the king do speak this thing as one which is faulty. And that the king do not fetch home again is banished.
The king don't do what?
Fetch home again is banished.
Don't fetch home again is who?
Is banished.
What's she saying after that?
For we must needs die.
We must needs what?
Die.
We all gotta die.
And as water spilled on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again, neither do Elohim respect any person. Yet do he devise means that is banished be not expelled from him.
He devised a means that is banished don't be expelled from him. He has devised a plan to bring back. Tell him what banished and expelled is, man. It just needs to resonate in your spirit, man. He said he devised a plan, a plot, an executive mastermind, if you would.
Banished is nadak, to impel, thrust, drive away, banish.
I put you out, divorce. So get out my house.
And expel, also the same word, nadak.
Same word. He said those who he put away, he devised the means to bring them back. He devised the means to bring them back. So when you see what he talking about in Romans 7, it's discussing the means that he came to bring his banished back. Because Deuteronomy 24 say he can't bring you back. I banished you. I divorced you. I put you out my house. We read it in Isaiah 50. I put you out my house. How you going to come back? You can't come back. If you come back, the land is defiled. Oh my God, today. Mark 10 and 1. Let's get that out of the way. Matter of fact, before you do that, Matthew 5 and 27. Amen, man. Amen, man. For real, though. But that's what I mean with certain stuff that people don't pay attention to that. And that's the same token like I asked the dude who don't believe in the Lord when he was like, we can't keep these feast days. I said, that's cool. That's fine. I say, now, if you don't keep them, who making the atonement for you? Oh, I said, no, don't give me no calves of your lips, Because that's not what your law say needs to be done for an atonement. Your law say the priest must go inside the veil and offer sins for himself and his house and then the sins for the people. I said, if we ain't got nobody to make the atonement, to purge the sin, to make reconciliation, what we doing this for? Because you're going to do all this and you still going to be separated from God. Stupid, because you need the reconciliation. You can't tell him how to reconcile when he told you how he reconciled. He said, well, Jesus said, I say, thou sayest. I ain't saying nothing about Jesus, sir. I asked you a question according to the paradigm, the perspective, the doctrine that you hold, sir. How do you reconcile? Since you say you can't do this. The same token, how do you niggas reconcile that the book say that he put you away and you can't come back to your husband if you've been with another man and you know Yasharal worship other gods after this man put him away? So what you gonna do with that? Oh, they can't do it. He says, is that a reason why Michael was put away, because she was with another man? In that instance, Saul had gave her to somebody to spite David. So that was kind of, she didn't go commit adultery. That was outside of her control. You know what I'm saying? That was outside. Same thing like what happened to Samson. They gave that woman to another man. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't out here peeking and geeking. She wasn't that Proverbs 7 lady. The goodman is gone on a long journey. Come over here so you can give me a feel of love. Freaky hoe. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't gonna tell you no lie, man. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
So you have heard that it was said by them of old time, you shall not commit adultery.
Mm-hmm.
But I say unto you that whosoever look on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Of course, you know that go back to David. Tell him what adultery mean, man. Because we had this conversation also. This don't mean if you look at a woman with desire, you commit adultery. It is literally referring to another man's wife. Because your law say thou shalt not covet what? Your neighbor's wife. So still a reference to the law. Even if you didn't want to reference the situation with David, it's still going back to the law, man. Go ahead.
That is mukoyo. That is to commit adultery, to be an adulterer, to commit adultery with, have unlawful intercourse with another's wife, of the wife, to suffer adultery, to be debauched.
And it says it's always another man's wife. You know what I'm saying? You cannot commit adultery with a woman who doesn't have a husband. Now, if you continuously looking on women with lust, that's a different offense. You know what I'm saying? It's not adultery. It is not adultery. You lascivious. You know what I'm talking about? You might have some conspicuous going on. You got some other stuff going on. You know what I'm talking about? But at the end of the day, if that woman ain't married and you look at that woman, you should have this. Look at me. I ain't gonna tell you no lie, man. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, man. Man, if you got a woman, man, and she don't look at you with no desire, bro, she don't like you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Man, you don't want no woman who don't look at you with no desire in the eyes, man. You don't want that, man. I'm telling you, you don't want that. I'm telling you, you don't. Because the stuff we were talking about earlier, man, when these people be talking about, look here, man, I told you this, man, dude said this, man, when a woman like you, man, you ain't got to do no foreplay. All that stuff them people be talking about, you ain't got to do none of that. She already ready. You know what I'm saying? She already ready. She ready at the thought of you. She ready at the smell of you. Let me just use this for example, man. Let's just say you wear Baccarat Rule 540, man. Let's just say that's your signature scent, you did. Well, if that woman smell that Baccarat Rule 540, I'm just using that because it's common. You know what I'm saying? And she smell that, her mind going to you. And if that remind her of you, now she thinking about you, she ready to go. Because that's going to have connotations of you. She ready to go. She might call you, hey, you got to see me when you get to the house now. You don't even know what's going on. I'm telling you, more people think that ain't even real because they not used to dealing with women who like them. So when you're dealing with a woman who like you, all this other stuff you be seeing people saying these comments, man, you ain't got to do all that because it's a dude. Because you know how we know this here? Because every man know it, man. This a woman make you jump through all them hoops. And it's a nigga who ain't got no job, rode a bicycle to her house. He ain't have to do none of that because she don't like you. You know what I'm saying? And everybody on here know I ain't lying. Because when a woman like you ain't got to do nothing. Not what the dude who don't like her, if she don't like, got to do. You ain't got to do nothing. Well, man, you don't want no woman don't look at you like, we could do it right now. She ain't got no, you don't want that, man. I'm telling you. You don't want that. Your life gonna be hell. Because she don't like you. I know I keep saying it over and over again because that need to get in you men's minds, man. You understand what I'm telling you? If that woman don't like you, bro, walk away. Walk away. He said, if Yahuwah found a way for two to get back to him, can two people once marry other people, come back to one, they got to come back to one another because they committing adultery. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, they got to come, and that's what that Mark 10 finna come into play. Because that scenario which you described, I can see how you would see it from that point of view, but it ain't the same thing because they wasn't ever supposed to separate from each other in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? To get married to somebody else. But yeah, man, I'm telling you, that woman don't look at you with no desire, no admiration, bro. But you don't want no woman who don't desire you physically, bro. She don't like you. You getting pity sex, man. You don't want that. She doing it because she feel like she gonna give you just enough for you leave her alone because she don't even want you touching her. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want no woman who don't want to be touched by you, man. Boy, you want your woman, she be waiting all day. She been thinking about all day for you touching on her. Yeah, you ain't got that, boy, your marriage gonna be terrible. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't saying it because it's gonna be built around sex, but I'm telling you, man, boy, that woman got to like you because she has to be attracted to you, man. It's not gonna work well for you as a man if you are with a woman who is not physically attracted to you. It's not. You know what I'm saying? And they can tell you all that other stuff they want to tell you until they mouth fry fish. But the reality of the situation is, don't think that women ain't visual creatures too. They just tell you that stuff to make you feel good because you're ugly. You know what I'm talking about? To them anyway, because you ain't gonna be handsome to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Now there are some men that are going to be regarded as universally handsome, no matter what race of people it is, and it is what it is, and don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Because everybody in here know it. You ain't got to try to, I ain't gay, nigga. You cut the junk, man. Cut the crap. You know that there are men walking this earth that are universally deemed to be handsome, and it just is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Not, okay, she just like you, or this. Nah, man. There's some dudes you already know. Pretty Ricky, what they called it. You know what I'm talking about, nigga. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean she may want him. But yeah, but you don't want no woman who don't find you attractive, cuz. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that. I'm telling you, it won't be ugly maybe in 1 year. It might not get ugly in 3. But once you hit by 5 and up, you're going to be like, she changed on me. She ain't never changed, cuz. She never liked you. You just didn't pick up on it. You just didn't pick up on it. The same way, man, look at man. You talking about he changed. He started treating me different. Baby, that man never liked you. You know what I'm saying? You just was the only woman willing to put up with his crap and give him consistent vagina. So he just went ahead with it. You know what I'm saying? Straight up and down. You went for you the only one dumb enough to go for his father, and you the only one dumb enough to toot it up to him on a regular basis, and he couldn't get nobody else to toot it, so he just rolled with you. He never want you. So how do so many people be with people they don't like? Because they don't like themselves, because they living in a fantasy land, because but see, this ain't the thing ain't about finding somebody you don't like. You may like them, but they may not like you. You know what I'm talking about? And that's where it come in at. It don't necessarily be two people who don't like each other. It's one person like this person, but the other one don't like them back. And the other person is caught up in a whole bunch of other stuff that they can't tell that this woman don't like you or this man don't like you because you looking left when you should have been looking up. You know what I'm saying? You looking down when you should have been looking straight. This person been showing you the whole time you've been dealing with them that they don't like you. But you ignore their behavior. You know what I'm saying? They said certain things out of their mouth. Man, it's a certain way people treat you when they like you, man. You know what I'm talking about? It's certain things that somebody like you, they not doing to you. Not intentionally. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? You can look in somebody's eyes and tell. See, a lot of women get got because you looking in this man's eyes and you thinking he liking you, and you really just giving him some yams. Man, don't nobody grow to like nobody. I ain't gonna lie to you. You don't grow into no attraction. You know what I'm saying? Because when I say like, I'm really talking about attraction. You can't grow into no attraction. You know what I'm saying? You can't. That's why when you hear people discussing, oh man, she don't be when we go to have sex, she don't be moist because she don't like you. Because if she like you, is she already ready? I'm talking about you ain't got to rev up nothing. She was ready at the thought of you. That's why I mentioned that with the cologne, just the smell. She ready. Y'all could be somewhere in public. She looking at you like, we could do it right now. Yeah, you ain't got that there, man. She don't like you. But Misha asked, can they grow to like them even if they're not their ideal, but their personality outside? Nah. That ain't how that works. You still don't like them. Yeah, you still don't like them. Because you're trying to convince yourself that you're attracted to this person when you're not. You still don't like them. What is y'all doing? What are y'all doing? You remember, what are you doing? Did she ask her that? See, that was your first mistake. Because she's supposed to ask her daddy. Yeah. That's You don't. That's as a man, you don't want no woman who had to grow to like you, because that means she never liked you. You know what I'm saying? You hoping someone is going to like you. That's not going to work out well for either side. That's not going to work out well for you. Because as a woman, you may like his character, but if you don't find him sexually attractive, it's going to be ugly because you don't want him. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to live a life where you realize that, because then you're going to starve him out. You're only going to want to be intimate with him on your terms. You know what I'm saying? You're going to try to be intimate with him as infrequent as possible because you don't like him. See, when it comes to sex, dudes like anybody who'll give some. But that's only for the moment. He don't really like her. I got consistent sex, so I don't want to lose it. But he doesn't like her. And what I mean by that is the way that he treats you is going to show that he don't like you, even though he climbing on top of you. You know what I'm saying? He going to treat you and talk to you like, yeah, that nigga don't like you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you got to grow to like him, you shouldn't even be with him. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When you hear them stories, when you hear people say that, like, I didn't like him at first. Like how you hear, because women you've never heard a man tell a story about his woman and say, I didn't like her at first. But you always, at least on television, you hear women tell that story about when she met the dude, how she didn't like him, how she wasn't attracted to him. That nigga a damn fool for wifing her. Because now she didn't marry him because now all of a sudden she liked him. She seen there was a tangible benefit for her enough to forego the fact that I'm not attracted to this man, but the benefit outweighs the lack of attraction, so I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you don't want that. And as a man, you shouldn't do that. That's why you shouldn't be chasing after women. You know what I'm saying? Say, what if a baby's involved by the two now? I wouldn't marry a woman because I got a baby from her if I don't like her. That's an error on my part. I shouldn't have got her pregnant. Yeah, because now you're finna make it doubly worse. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're gonna try to make something work with somebody you don't like just because you got a baby. Now the baby gotta suffer. Because now both of y'all in the house and y'all don't like each other. And I know somebody personally who that was their scenario. And it didn't work. Because she looked up and realized, I don't like this nigga. You know what I'm saying? But it's too late. We got a child, and I tried to make it work because we got a child. But I don't like this nigga, and all it is the dynamic gets worse and worse because either one or both parties are going to start to resent one another because they don't want to be there because they don't like each other, and the person who suffers is the child. I almost said it always get worse. Seen it many times. Yeah, it's gonna get worse over time. It's never gonna work out well. Not that, and not in the way that people construct it in their mind. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be sour. It's going to be sour. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be, you're gonna be damn. It's gonna be sour. It's never gonna be good. And the reason being because 99.9% of the time, as a man, you are pursuing a woman who showed you she did not like you, but she ends up acquiescing for whatever reason. You start fooling with her. Now y'all got a baby, and it's gonna be worse because now she realized she got a baby from a nigga she don't like. But in her mind, she doesn't want a broken home. So she feel like I have a family with this man. I should try to make this work with this man because we got a child together. But then it makes it worse because you never should have been with this nigga in the first place. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know you didn't like him, but you felt he was applying pressure. Like if a woman tell you why you ain't applying pressure, she don't like you. A woman who like you will never tell you you need to apply some pressure. You ain't got to apply nothing because when you hear all that, she don't like you. Any of you gentlemen who ever dealt with a woman who liked you, she never said nothing like that to you. She never said you had to take her here and do. When a woman don't like you, she charge you for her time. You know what I'm saying? She charge you for her time. When a woman don't like you, she won't give you no money. When a woman like you, she give you some money. I done told you before, a woman rather give you some vagina before she give you some money. So if she give you some money, she like you. You know how stupid niggas is that they don't realize, man, if that woman breaking bread with you cause she like you, nigga. People think that means she gullible. No, dude, she like you, cuz. Because that's what you hear dudes, women don't buy gifts. Women don't. Yeah, they do to niggas they like. They do it every day. Man, there's women out here buy whole outfits, shoes, cars, boats, all type of stuff for dudes when they like them. But when she don't like you, man, she ain't gonna buy you a gift card, cuz she ain't gonna even buy you a card from the gas station, my nigga. She ain't gonna buy you a Snicker bar if you was hungry so you could be your regular self. She ain't gonna do nothing for you. You know what I'm talking about? When you hear women, I ain't cooking for him, I'm not his wife. Man, let me tell you something, man. When a woman like you, man, she'll cook. She'll do all that. She don't even, because she ain't even looking at it like I like this nigga. What you want? You want some tacos? You want a steak? You ain't asking for her to cook. She volunteering. She calling you, boy, I got some food to the house. I cook such and such, such and such. Come on through here and get it. There ain't no situation like, man, when you gonna cook? If you gotta ask her to cook for you, she don't like you. You know what I'm saying? It's the same token. Now, of course, we in the word, so you shouldn't be doing this here. But if you wasn't in the word, man, if you gotta ask a woman for intercourse, bro, she don't like you. She don't like you. Because if she like you, you ain't gotta ask. She ready. She finna let you know. Come get these yams now. But don't nobody tell dudes that. You know what I'm saying? If you gotta ask, she don't like you. Man, if you gotta ask a woman to do anything, bro, she don't like you. Because when they like you, they do it effortlessly. They volunteer. This ain't no the submission type of thing. I'm talking about if she like you. If she like you, there's nothing you have to ask a woman to do. She gonna do it. I'm talking about on regular stuff, not stuff like laser specific. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you ain't gotta ask when she like you. If you gotta ask, bro, she don't like you. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. It's not hard to figure out. Once you learn that as a man, you won't be like these niggas. These niggas on the internet be crying because they be after women who don't like them. Not that hard. I promise it ain't. And every woman on here tell you that. Yeah, she make you work for her because she don't like it. Just move on. Just move on, man. Don't try to never in life try to win anybody over. Ever. Ain't worth it. Ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who it is, family, friends, opposite sex. Don't try to win nobody over because they already don't like you. So you expending energy to get somebody to like you who don't like you? That's crazy. I say that because it's better for you to be in an environment of people who like you than to convince people to like you, because your interactions are going to be better when people already like you. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to have the problems. That means if conflict arises, it's going to be easy to resolve it. You know what I'm saying? Because each party likes each other. They have a care for each other. They have a concern for each other. So their care and concern for each other is going to be greater than whatever that issue is. You know what I'm saying? I've told you that 1,000 times. The love has to be greater than the problem. If there's no love there, then somebody's going to want to be right. So then it's going to exacerbate the problem. But when there's love there, nobody cares about who's right or who's wrong. It's how can we reconcile this to put this issue to bed because I love you, because I care more about you than I care about being right. Because it ain't about that. It's about us. And that's easy to do when you're with somebody who likes you, because they care about you. That's the biggest point I'm trying to make out of that whole play. But it's not even, and it can be the end, but it's mainly, but it's easy to do when you like each other. You can't do that when somebody don't like you. You know what I'm saying? When somebody don't like you, you can't do that. Like if you constantly fighting with somebody, going, but y'all don't like each other. People who like each other don't fuss, fight, and argue all day, every day. You know what I'm talking about? That's not what happens. You do that. That's what children do. I'm not doing that with no grown person. Come on, man. That's right.
Go to Matthew 5.
Go ahead.
Verse 28. But I say unto you that whosoever look on a woman to lust after her have committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Come on.
If your right eye offends you, pluck it out.
Pluck it.
Cast it from you, for it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body shall be cast into hell.
Come on.
If your right hand offends you, cut it off. Cast it from you, for it is profitable for you that one of your members should perish, and not that your whole body should be cast into hell.
But I say it has been said.
Whosoever shall put away his wife, let him give her a writing of divorcement.
But I say unto you,
that whosoever shall put away his wife,
saving
for the cause of fornication,
cause her
to commit adultery,
and whosoever
shall marry her that is divorced, commit adultery.
Now go ahead and give them what fornication is by definition, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. One thing my people told me, man, and when I say my people, not just my parents or my grandparents or mine. So
porneia, illicit sexual intercourse, adultery, fornication, homosexuality, lesbianism, intercourse with animals, etc. Intercourse with close relatives, sexual intercourse with a divorced man or woman, the worship of idols.
Everything in Leviticus 18. So, and that's man, life is simple. You know what I'm saying? If you keep it simple. If you learn that what people say and do have nothing to do with you, you know what I'm saying? You can save yourself from a lot of unnecessary stress and consternation by not personalizing things. Because a lot of things that people say and do have absolutely nothing to do with you. It has to deal with what they got going on the inside. You know what I'm saying? If you learn to look at people separately from who you want them to be versus who they show you they are. You know, my mom always told me that, hey, you can still have love for somebody and dislike their ways. You know what I'm saying? Like to make that separation. You know, understanding why people make their decisions so you can have some level of understanding and empathy to know how to deal with them. And basically to surround yourself with people who actually have a genuine care for your well-being and to deal with people who will tell you about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is let you know, hey, you wrong, or let you know, hey, you not finna do X, Y, Z to me and think that you finna have access to me. You not finna talk to me any kind of way, or this, that, and the third, and think that's no, we don't do that here. Like the same way you might hear women say, oh, he can't handle me. He too weak of a man. Nah, I ain't weak. I'm strong. I'm strong enough to not deal with your insufferable and incorrigible behavior because you're convincing yourself that your incorrigible behavior, your deplorable conduct, your piss poor attitude is something that someone should suffer because you don't want to take accountability for the fact that you're a terrible person, that you're horrible to be around, that you have improper communication skills, and that instead of acting like a mature adult, you respond like a child. And you think as a man, that make me weak because I don't want to deal with that. No, I ain't going to deal with that because my mama ain't talk to me like that, ho. So what I'm going to let you do it for? My mama ain't say this, that, there. Man, you look at, man, one thing I would never put up with in my life, man, I'm not dealing with no woman who can cuss at me. My mama ain't cuss at me. And I ain't just saying that to say that, but my mama never cussed at me in my entire 43 years under the sun that I shared with her. My mama ain't never cussed at me, man, not once. My mama never called me out my name, not once, ever. Never happened, man. I'm talking about, I done did some things with that girl, Rosalind Renee was pissed off, but that woman never cussed at me, man. That woman never called me out my name. That woman never disrespected me in any shape, form, or fashion, ever. I'm not finna let no woman talk to me any kind of way. My mama ain't talk to me like that. You got to be crazy. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not putting up with that. You might think that's a proper way to communicate because that's how your people communicate, but my people ain't talk to me like that. Facts, real. But I say that because if you come from a household where your people your mama talk to you like that, guess what you're going to think that is, Sylvia? Normal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if you went to dealing with a woman and she go to communicating like that, you may not see no issue with that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't come from that. My mama ain't yell at me, man. My mama ain't cuss at me. My mama ain't do all that stuff, man. Man, you're not finna talk to me like that. My mama ain't talk to me like that. That's the same way as a woman. If you say, boy, my daddy never called me out my name, my daddy never raised his voice at me, my daddy never did that, this here, you ain't supposed to let nobody's son talk to you like that. You ain't supposed to let that nigga, man, my daddy don't talk to me like that. The hell am I gonna let you talk to me like that for? That means if your people ain't talking to you like that, and you let somebody talk to you like that, that means your self-esteem and dignity ain't where it's supposed to be. Because you supposed to know, boy, my mama ain't talk to me like that. I'm not gonna let you talk to me like that. This ain't talking about on no aggressive or fighting type of time. This say, oh no, yeah, you got to go. You got to go. You got to go. Matter of fact, you ain't even got to go nowhere. I'm gonna separate myself from your company. Say exactly. Nobody wants to deal with someone who behaves like a water buffalo. That nigga, that's true. You say my mama never did it to my dad either. Never. Yeah, come on. Now you sit there and you see that your mama never talked to your daddy like that. Then your mama don't talk to you like that. And you think I'm finna let you talk to me like that? You got to be out your goddamn mind. You know what I'm saying? But you got women out here who think you should let them talk to you like that. But you know where that comes from? Whoever you was raised with, whoever you dealt with, they permitted that type of behavior. And when you deal with a couple people who behave a certain type of way, you think that's normal. And then they think it's something wrong with you because you say nah. See, you know where the problem come in that is? Some of y'all will try to amend this person. I'm not finna change you. If that's how you talk and that's how you behave, baby, keep talking like that. But you ain't finna do it with me. And you know how you know you ain't finna do it with me? Because I ain't finna be here for you to talk to. Because I refuse. I do not participate in disrespectful conversations with no woman, man. I'm not doing that, man. Listen, man, I'm not finna go back and forth with no woman, man. I definitely ain't finna go back and forth with no woman who I ain't dropping no penis in. So you know if I ain't finna do that with her, I ain't finna do it with one who I am. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that with you. I've lived my entire adult life like this. I ain't just get like this. You know what I'm saying? I've been like this for 30 years. I ain't doing it because my daddy told me not to do it. My granddaddy told me not to do it. My auntie told me not to do it. My mama told me not to do it. What is you doing that for? That's stupid. You man, my big homie told me not to do that. What is wrong with you? You don't let nobody talk to you any kind of way. Say it's not even good to go back and forth with other men. So ain't. Said a lot of them real slick out the mouth. Yeah, see, I ain't finna deal with no woman who just slick out the mouth. Because I don't come from a family of women who talk like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's not even appeasing to me. I'm gonna check it, and you keep on. And that's the stuff that happens when you hang on like that. That's how that happens. And when I say how it metastasizes, because you stay there, and then because you stay in there when you should have already had them slid. You know what I'm saying? You should have already had them slid. Same way if this man talking to you crazy, you already knowing, I don't like this man. Baby, you could once you go to thinking like that, it's time to go. Especially if you ain't married to him. What y'all over there talking about? Nothing. That mean you ain't listening. Come on. Yeah, man, don't do it. It ain't worth it.
Verse 33.
Come on, you ain't got time to listen. You go to bed. Yeah, because man, you can talk disrespect. Yeah, it's going to absolutely furniture going to be moved. So live. And see, and listen, y'all, I'm not saying it to be disrespectful to either gender, man. I'm telling you, just real life, man. That's what y'all problem is. Y'all be on the internet. You get caught up in these gender wars, man. We talking about real life, man. I'm not going to call that woman anything other than a disciplinary problem that don't need to be in my life. The same way that you should look at that man and say, he has an emotional problem. He's got a mental problem. He should not be in my life. But see, a lot of that stuff happens when you don't have your parents. You know what I'm saying? Or your parents behave in an untoward fashion. So you think that's acceptable behavior. That's why people look at you odd when you don't put up with certain stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they think you should, because that's what they know. You know what I'm saying? It's very hard. You know how many brothers, mamas emasculated them? You know where it's weird for dudes to be like, oh, no, my mama loved me. No, my mama ain't, I promise to you, boy, my mama ain't never cussed at me, man. Ever. 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 Not on some just, man, my mama didn't cuss, period. You know what I'm saying? She did, but she didn't do it in front of us. You know what I'm talking about? And she definitely didn't cuss at us.
That's the opposite for me.
Yeah, but see, that don't do something to your mind when your people talk to you like that, man. You know what I'm saying? But when your people show you respect as a child, then you just accustomed to, you're not going to let nobody disrespect you. And it ain't on no tough guy stuff either, man. Oh, I'll whoop you up. Ain't on none of that. Hey, the first thing, hey, man, you can't talk to me like that. Especially because I ain't talking to you like that. Because you know what ends up happening? You talk to people with respect because your people talk to you with respect. So in your mind, you thinking respect is how you communicate to other people. So once you begin to start disrespectful communication, I know it is no longer apropos. It would behoove me to no longer communicate with you because you do not have the mental maturity to communicate properly. So I'm gone. See, a big part of people mask up and some mothers pretend to like that. Yeah, man. Yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, man. It's only so long fake thugs can pretend. You paying attention, you can tell people if people like you or not. They can't pretend, brother. So come on, Sid, we gotta get out of here.
Verse 33. Again, you have heard that it had been said of them, by them of old time, you should not forswear yourself.
Oh no, that's good. We don't need nothing. Come on, back to 1 Corinthians 7, because we could hit Mark 10, y'all willing on tomorrow. Because we ain't gonna get through this whole chapter. This chapter 40 verses long. We in verse 11, 1 Corinthians 7.
But, and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. Let not the husband put away his wife.
Tell them what reconcile means. I told y'all with these letters, we're not rushing through stuff just to rush through it. You know what I'm saying? We can, but we're not.
Catalasso, that is to change, exchange as coins for others of equivalent value, to reconcile those who are at variance, return to favor with, be reconciled to one.
Return to favor, baby.
Receive one into favor.
You see how that could have bringing the banished back? See how you can be married to your husband, even though, read Romans 7 again, man. 7:3.
So then, if while her husband lives, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress.
Go ahead.
But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law.
She's free.
So that she is no adulteress.
And what Mashiach told you, if Mashiach make you free, you shall be what? Free indeed. Go ahead.
So though she be married to another man, wherefore my brethren, you also are become dead to the law by the body of Mashiach.
So when he died, that made you dead to the. Now you can come back to your husband because you still married to the same man. But his death and resurrection allowed him to be able to bring you back to him. Because he said he spread his arms all the day unto a gainsaying and rebellious people who provoked him continually to his face. Come on.
That you should be married to another, even to him who was raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit unto Elohim.
Now you can bring forth produce. You can produce the fruits of this man's spirit now. Come on back to 1 Corinthians 7. Verse 12. But to the
rest I speak, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believe not, she be pleased.
Notice he say, but to the rest I. So this is his opinion. And he's telling you that this is his opinion. He say, I, not the
Lord.
If any brother
have a wife that believe not.
Now, if that's a brother, that means he's doing the will of God, but he's married to somebody who don't believe the word. And she be
pleased to dwell with
let him not
put her away.
Now tell him what pleased means.
Sinudokeo, that is to be pleased together with, to approve together, to be pleased at the same time with consent agreed to.
So he agreed to stay with her. Now I'm trying to think, is there examples of that? You know Ahab and Jezebel, but she was wicked as hell. You know what I'm saying? Obviously Solomon and his wives. You say?
Is that Abigail and the ball, would that count or not necessarily?
Not necessarily, but necessarily because he just was so freaking stupid. You know what I'm saying? But with Solomon and his wives, he was with a non-believer because he's referring to specifically non-believers. What we at? Verse 13, 1 Corinthians 7.
And the woman which have a husband that believe not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him.
For the unbelieving
husband is sanctified by the wife,
and the unbelieving
wife is sanctified by the husband.
Else were your
children unclean, but now are they kadosh.
But if the unbelieving
depart,
let him
depart.
A brother
or a sister
is not under
bondage in such cases.
Elohim
have called us to shalom.
Tell him what bondage means. So he telling you this isn't a situation where somebody put somebody away. It's Joseph's wife believed no. No, it doesn't say that. She was an Egyptian woman. So it's definitely no. At first I thought you was writing that to Joseph. It definitely doesn't denote if she was a follower of Yahuwah or not. The likelihood is probably 0 to none. Just simply because she was an Egyptian.
Bondages do law to make a slave of, to reduce the bondage.
You ain't supposed to be no slave to try to keep somebody who don't believe God. You know what I'm talking about? Let's continue.
Say, for what know you?
This is
wife,
verse 16.
Whether
Corinthians 7. For what?
Know you, O wife, whether you shall save husband.
Or how know you?
O man, whether you shall save wife.
That's it, right? And you can look at that with Adam and Eve. You can look at that in a lot of locations. But let's continue. Some of that we'll revisit. But Elohim
have distributed to every man as the Lord hath called everyone, so let him walk. And so ordain I in all churches.
So again, he telling you this is his opinion with unbelieving spouses. This is not what the Lord said. He told you that. Go ahead.
Is any man called being circumcised?
Let him what?
Not become uncircumcised.
Now that means that don't let him become uncircumcised in the heart. Because if you're circumcised in your penis, obviously you can't become uncircumcised. Go ahead.
Is any called an uncircumcision? Let him not be circumcised.
And that's referring to what happened with Abraham, if you would. Go ahead. And we'll revisit that in more specificity. Y'all willing on tomorrow.
Say circumcision is nothing. Uncircumcision is nothing. But the keeping of the commandments of Elohim.
Let every man
abide in the same calling wherein he was called.
And we talked about this before. Are you called being a
servant?
Care not
for it.
But if you be made free,
use it.
For he that is
called in the Lord a servant
is the Lord's
free man.
Likewise,
Also he that is called free is a Mashiach servant.
We'll come back and deal with all that. You are bought with a
price.
Be you not
servants of men.
See how I go back with the redeemed. They were bought with a price. They weren't servants of men. They were servants of God. Continue, brethren.
Let every man, wherein he is called, therein abide with Elohim. Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my
Now concerning what?
Virgins,
I have what?
No commandment of the Lord.
Now concerning what?
Virgins,
I have no what?
Commandment of the Lord.
Now he said, I'm giving my what?
Judgment.
He's giving his what?
Judgment.
He's determining what's right or wrong according to his judgment. He's saying this is not of the law. Continue.
As one that have obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress, that it is good for a man so to be.
Are you bound unto a wife?
Seek not to be loose.
Don't get rid of your wife. Are you loose from a wife?
Seek not a wife.
He tell you this is judgment. If you ain't got a wife, serve God. If you got one, keep your old lady. Continue.
But and if you marry,
you have what?
Not sinned.
And if a virgin
marry, she have not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh.
But I spare you. That trouble in the flesh, we'll deal with that later. But I say this I say, brethren.
The time is short, it remain that both they that have wives be as though they had none,
and they that weep,
as though they wept not,
and they that rejoice,
as though they rejoice not, and they that buy, as though they possess not.
So I want to get to the main point because we would be leaving Revelation 14 incomplete. And they that
use this world as not abusing,
for the fashion of this world
pass away.
But I would
have you without carefulness.
He that is unmarried,
care for the things that belong to the Lord,
how you may please the Lord. You see that with Jeremiah. You saw that with Daniel. You saw that with Jephthah. You saw that with Anna the prophetess. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
But he that is married, care for the things that are of this world.
How he may do what?
Please his wife.
And just for lack of a better example, that's how Solomon got caught up in idolatry, because he was seeking to please his wife. Now, I'm not telling you to please your wife by committing sin. We're saying that you're going to want to please your wife. That's part of the trouble in the flesh. He said, but I spare you. So I'm not going to burden you with that. He said, there's a difference
also between a wife and a virgin.
The unmarried woman
care for the things of the Lord.
See that with Anna the prophetess and Jephthah's daughter, that she may be
Kadash, both in body and in ruach.
That's how you seen with Jephthah's daughter. She was Kadash in body and ruach, but she that is married
care for the things of the world, how she may please husband. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that you may attend upon the Lord without distraction.
Without what?
Distraction.
Listen what he say. But if any man think
that he behave himself uncomely toward his virgin,
if she pass
the flower of age.
See, that's what he do, talking about they can marry a woman who just hate her cycle and she marriageable. You wicked as hell. Them people wasn't marrying no woman till she was 20. That's why they say a virgin is a woman of marriageable age. And they never considered when she got her cycle that she was marriageable. You nasty bastard, you. Come over here and give them the definition of flower of age. In case in point, if we were in the land in antiquity, Shannon Sharp wouldn't have been able to be with that woman at the time that he met her because she wouldn't have been of marriageable age. Now, of course, he wasn't marrying that woman. They were fornicating, and clearly she was an internet prostitute. But nevertheless, I'm just using that as an example because she was 19. You were considered to be a full age in amongst Hebrews when you turn 20.
The flower of ages. Hubarakmos, beyond the bloom or prime of life, overripe, plump and ripe, and so in a great danger of defilement of a virgin.
See, notice it said in great danger of defilement. So this ain't even talking about a menstrual cycle. Say she's overripe, that means she grown. We know this because Judah did not give his daughter to Tamar because he was not of age. She had to wait for him to become of age. This thought process that Mary was 14 when they got married and Rebecca was 12, that's nigga nonsense. That's you not even knowing the word or the God of that particular people to know that he don't co-sign, stamp, or promote that, because people don't know how old Rebecca and Mary was. So they just had to come up and say they were children, pre-adolescents, pubescents, or young teens. But no, you got to be a dove. You not a full age. You got to be a dub. Notice what it said, a virgin. This somebody, they knew she was ready to give up them yams.
Young woman, she's going to get married.
They're going to get married. You know what I'm talking about? And people like, oh, God condone rape. No, he don't. He said the man who raped a woman, that's the same as murder. He should die. That's what the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob say is supposed to happen to a rapist. He's supposed to die. Some people say it don't speak about pedophilia. Nigga, that guy go with raping, nigga. He ain't got to say how old you is. Your big nasty behind ain't had no business touching on that child. So that means you supposed to die. Male or female. You supposed to die. That's what he's saying. You the same as a murderer. But let's continue. I just need to make sure that was known for somebody who may have not known that. Come on with it.
If she pass the flower of age and need so inquire, let him do what he will. He sin not, let them marry.
Nevertheless,
he that stands steadfast in his heart,
having no
necessity,
but have power
over his own will,
and have decreed in his heart
that he will keep his virgin,
do well.
So then he that give her in marriage do well.
But he that give not
in marriage do better.
You see how I say them first fruits, they the most excellent. They excel. You go back to Genesis 4, what did Abel give him? The first fruits. He gave him the best. Cain was rejected because he ain't give him the best. The first fruits is the best. This is the key component too. I'm going to add this in here right now, man. I ain't even going to wait. When you look at, when we know when the Lord coming back, he coming back during tabernacles, which is ingathering, which is harvest time. So that means in that gathering of the harvest, the 144,000 of the first fruits of that harvest, the best. Because he bought everybody. You know what I'm saying? But that 144, that's the best. You know why they the best? Because they dedicated themselves wholly to be sanctified in body and ruach to serve him with no distraction. But let's continue.
Say the wife.
Hold on. And that's why we grab Daniel. That's why we grab Jeremiah for the men. And that's why we grabbed Anna for his widow, because he mentioned widows. And that's why we grabbed Jephthah's daughter. So you can see 4 examples, 4 witnesses, 2 men, 2 women who are doing exactly what that is, with the exception of one not being a virgin. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Say the wife is bound by the law as long as her husband lives. But if her husband be dead, she's at liberty to be married to whom she will.
Only
in the Lord.
But she is happier.
If she so abide after my judgment. And I think also that I have the Ruach of Elohim.
He said, I think I got the Spirit of God. I think she'd do better if she did it after my judgment, which is to abide and serve God. Notice he never said, because people say that they're taking that Paul and saying it's a commandment not to get married. That's not what he's telling people. He's telling people to focus on God if you have that ability, which goes back to what we read in Matthew 19. And that's where that 144 come in at when he said that these men were not defiled with women because they were virgins. That means they never got married. Because they dedicated their life to serving God. And that's what 1 Corinthians 7 is really about in its totality. About the service. We'll stop right there for now. Hallelujah for Yahushua word. I appreciate y'all time this evening. I bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, Yahuwah willing. We'll be back at it on tomorrow. Do it again. Peace, man. The couple tried to say it's men and women in 144. I don't know how they get women out of that. Because, yeah. I don't know how they got that out of that. I remember Nitsa had a debate with somebody about that it was women. And I'm like, I don't know how. Shalom, man. Indeed, man. Praise you, who indeed. I don't know how she got women out of that either. Amen, real, man. I don't know how, but people come up with a lot of things. Yahuwah brewed me. So, y'all willing, we'll be back on tomorrow. Make it do what it do. Appreciate y'all again. Bless y'all the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua, man. Y'all willing to tomorrow. You turn your good bad. Praise you, indeed. Shalom, Sister Virginia. But you got some